Look at this guy. Man,
Hey.
you guys so you're like a star now that the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Look at this side.
And of course, here he comes. Listen, is he smoking a cigar? He's really gonna. What? Oh my God! Yes, Rudy.
Rumble! Finally! The Ramelia Sports Report returns to the Rumble Show. Rumble!
Roll down the window.
Yes, Rudy.
Put down the top. Crank up the Beach Boys, baby. Don't let the music stop. We gon' ride it till we just can't ride it no more. From the side place to the valley, from the west side. Let's go. Big dog on three. 1, 2, 3. Big dog.
What is up, my Ramelia fans of the Los Angeles Rams and ordinary Rams chingones? How are you doing? Thank you for coming in and joining me on Wednesday, the Wednesday of the bye. We can't lose to nobody. We're not playing nobody on Sunday, but there's big news. Carson Wentz is now a Ram. You know, back in the day when we drafted Golf, I wanted Carson Wentz, possibly, or Golf. I liked the size that he gave us, or that he would give us. I liked the big arm. He was fairly mobile for a big guy. Reminded me of Ben Roethlisberger. And I thought with McVay, he would be perfect to go with McVay. And we ended up going in another direction, and that is what that is. But I really wanted him. I really wanted one of them, but I kind of wanted to go with Wentz because I thought, oh well, what if Golf is kind of like Jay Cutler? You know, he was a smaller guy. You know, what if he's injury prone? You know, stuff like that. So it turns out that the guy who actually had injuries was the bigger guy. And hold on, I'm messing with my background here. Thank you for being patient. But anyway, he's now a Ram, and we're gonna find out what you guys think in the chat. You know, a lot of people think, oh, he's no good, whatever. You know, my guy Jim Everett saying Rams are doomed. Well, listen, anyone is better than Fran Dresser Wynn or Brett. Don't let it ripping. I mean, if we would have had Carson Wentz in there already, with a game plan, focused, we probably could have beat the Packers. I mean, the Packers aren't very good at all. I mean, it was horrible game to watch. And but anyway, let's just get into the chat. Also, too, there's some news. You know, I haven't got on the Seahawks because we expect to beat the Seahawks, but the Seahawks got their ass whipped by the Ravens. Are the Baltimore Ravens a real contender? Like for me, I always forget that that Lamar Jackson won the MVP. You know, I know he had that one great year. It was amazing, but he's been injured. You know, he always seems like he doesn't have great accuracy. You know, he's kind of like a quarterback that gets in a rhythm, and you know, when he has everything going, then he's very dangerous. But are they really going to be that good at the end? You know, we're still a little over halfway through the year. There's still a lot of games left. And I don't really put them in the same, even though they're one of the better teams now and they're running roughshod over teams. I don't really put them in the spot of the, you know, in the same shelf as the in the same par as the Kansas City Chiefs or Joe Burrow's Bengals now that they're playing good. And then I think it's on the same. I think they're on the same par as the Bills, who are like maybe a half a notch down because of Allen. Josh Allen has actually reverted back to his old ways and some of the mistakes he's had. And but he'll have a great game. You're like, oh, they're back, right? So that's how I look at them. But you know, the NFC West, like we told you guys this before, not just me, but a lot of Rand content creators. The NFC is very weak, and it has been. look at the Niners. The Niners are the best team in the NFC West, and they lost 3 straight, right? The Seahawks just got their butt whipped by the Ravens, but they had been coming up, and Geno'd out, so this division, had we had a team that can finish games, we'd have a much better record, and we'd be right in the mix for the division title. But honestly, I got to say that I was wrong on our offense being explosive and carrying the load, because it's actually been, except for the first game, it was both. It's been the defense that has held its own. It's been the young defense, even though we haven't had the pass rush that we've wanted at times, for sure. Even though Raheem Morris plays too soft on defenses, the defense has been keeping us in the games. Now, the Cowboys game, that was a one-off. You just tip your hat and say, well, we'll see you another game. That's one of those things. But the defense has been the thing that was the thing that's been consistent. The offense has been the one that struggled, and a lot of it's because Cooper Kupp wasn't there. Puka Nacua was able to fast track develop, and be amazing. And Matthew Stafford now has, he had a hip pointer, and he's banged up, and now we limp into the bye. We gave away 2 games for sure, the Packers and the Bengal game, and then we were in the games against the Eagles and the Niners, and we just couldn't finish it. But those are good teams. But at the bye, we have Carson Wentz in the fold. I like it. Sean McVay, the quarterback whisperer, if you remember what he did for Baker Mayfield, it's amazing what a coach can do. And I say that saying this. Remember our last live, we were talking about, and I'm not the only one that said Carson Wentz or whoever, right? But maybe Sneed, heard one of us, and he got it. Here's a little clip of our last live. There's nothing wrong with doing things your own way. For instance, you bring a quality backup quarterback, right? And when we thought Stetson Bennett was going to be, learning, but still, he's a young guy, a veteran quarterback that can, Wentz. We've been talking about Wentz. He can do a spot start here or there if you prepare him correctly and you look him in the eye and say, don't throw the damn ball in harm's way, right? For short term, he'll be fine. Exactly what I'm saying. Short term, spot start. Stafford, you're banged up. Carson, you got the ball. Maybe he'll be our backup next year. I understand he probably wants to be a starter, but whenever you get with McVay and you learn a lot of things, the culture here is a lot different than where Carson Wentz has been. The Eagles are a pretty good culture, but with his injuries, he was going on something else. So now he's pretty healthy. He's been off of the couch. He's probably got humbled a little bit. They were talking about maybe his locker room presence wasn't the greatest, but now you're humble and you've been out of the league for a long time, and now you get a chance to play with McVay, and Stafford is there as well, and you got these professionals: Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, all business. Higbee, all the guys. So we'll see what happens. Is it one game too late? Maybe we should have brought him in for the Packer game and got that game. I told you guys we have about 2 more games that we can lose, and probably the Ravens. Who knows about the Niner game? We'll see what happens. Maybe the NFC keeps losing games and we can get in at 8 and 9. We will see, but we're not giving up. We have this roster with young guys, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Puka Nacua is him. Travarius Thomason hasn't got a lot of time yet. Quentin Lake is coming around. He didn't play last year because he was injured. He's looking pretty good. Guys like Darian Kendrick have struggled, and we ended up benching him. Kobe Durant hasn't been himself from the year before. He hasn't taken that next step. Who knows if he's banged up, but he is banged up now with the shoulder, so he gets to rest, and we'll see what happens. But let's get right into the chat. Enough of my chatty Cathy-isms, and let's get right into it. Thank you guys for joining me. My guy Tribe says, salute, Rudy. Props to you, brother. Thank you for coming in. My guy Daniel Berry. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Yo, what's up, brother? Joe says, Rambo is a joke. Yeah, Rambo, if you don't know, he's a Niner content creator, and he's also a Laker fan, so At least he has that right. But we go back and forth, and he talks about the 5 Super Bowls, and at least he can say that he saw those 5 Super Bowls. He's an older gentleman of a certain age, and he at least got to see those. But yeah, so anything the Rams do, the Rams can win a 3rd championship in Los Angeles, and he would be like, yeah, but we swept you guys. But yeah, it's funny though. It's funny. One Kali Ram says, "Hola mi Ramilia, what's up, brother? Appreciate you so much." Ali Ram says, "What's happening, Ramley?" Yes, indeed. So what's happening is we got our guy Carson Wentz. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, he'll make defenses wince in despair when he's getting that ball out to Puka Nacua and Cup. Now, here's one thing about Carson Wentz: no one can ever say that he don't have an arm. No one can ever say that he doesn't have the gun to get it in there. What people are saying is, damn, he looks so good. Reminds me of the movie Major League with our guy, what's his name? My bats need hots for bats. Throw him the curveball. Oi! He's hitting home runs. Carson Wentz gets on a tear. You're like, whoa, what the hell's what's wrong with him? He's doing good. And then all of a sudden you scratch your head and like, why did he throw that? And so hopefully we can rein that in. Just say, Carson, be yourself, but if it's not there, throw it away and keep the ball out of harm's way. There's no reason to force it. Now we have the same similar issue a little bit with Matthew Stafford, but not as much. He does, because he's a gunslinger. These guys are gunslingers. When you have a big arm, you think you could fit it in there. You just got to rein him in a little bit. But he does have the talent. At least we can say that he has the arm to get those deep outs and those passes to Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and fit it in there. So we'll see what happens. Joe says, me too, before golf, but why now? Yeah. When he's talking about my opening, I wanted Carson Wentz or golf, and I said, well, I'd rather go with the big guy. He looks mobile, strong arm. Remind me kind of Jim Everett, Ben Roethlisberger with the mobility. And he started when he was going to win the MVP. Remember, before he got hurt with us, playing us at the Coliseum, I was like, see. And if you remember, Jared Goff was horrible with Jeff Fisher. It was oil and vinegar, oil and water. So, but anyway, you never know what's going to happen. We thought Jared Goff would be here for the next 12, 15 years. And after 3 years, see ya, Matthew Stafford. Grandizer 12 says, yo, welcome all Ram fans and NFL fans to the stream. Late night horchata and tequila with your host, Rudy of the Really Sports Report. Hope you're having a good night. Let's get to it. Yes, indeed. And one thing I want to tell you, we talked about the Matthew Stafford. What's the word? Disrespect around the league and medias, right? They kiss Aaron Rodgers' ass. I mean, as soon as the announcer, the TV journalists start to talk, he's almost, bending over so they can pucker up. The guy can do no wrong. Now, he is a great quarterback, Hall of Famer, all that stuff, but he hasn't done nothing in a long time with the Packers. He's known for going 1 and out in the playoffs. Matthew Stafford in that Super Bowl year, he had a little thing in there. We didn't have a running game. He had to throw a lot. He had a little pinch in there. We had a 3-game streak where we didn't play good. But he had 41 touchdowns, over 4,000 somehow yards, close to 5,000, I believe it was. 17 touchdowns, 17 picks, but 41 touchdowns. We were almost scoring 30 some points a game, and he didn't make the Pro Bowl that year. That's crazy, so there you go. And so I'd rather have him win this Super Bowl like he did than make a Pro Bowl. But same thing with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant only has 1 MVP. Are those the same people that vote for Kobe Bryant in that time when he was playing? That the Pro Bowl, I think it's fans or whatever, they change it, but that's stupid that Matthew Stafford wasn't a Pro Bowl that year, a Pro Bowl quarterback. Come on now. Tom Brady probably took his spot, or Aaron Rodgers, but anyway, that's just that Stafford disrespect is horrible. G12's Randy Newman, I love LA. Yes, indeed. G12 says you may contact Rudy of the Remelia Sports Report via X Twitter, twitter.com, Sports Remelia. Yes, indeed. LA Ram says, hit the like button. Yes, hit the like button and subscribe. Thank you guys for coming in. My guy Alex G says, what's up, Rudy? What's up, brother? Appreciate you for coming in. Thank you. G12 says you may contact Rudy. You may contact Rudy of the Remelia Sports Report via Instagram, Instagram.com, Remelia Sports. Yes, indeed. King Easy says he's great. Yes, indeed. Hopefully he'll be great with us. G12 says welcome, tribe. Yes, indeed. G12 says, yo, Danny Berry Sports. My guy Joe says, golf is really good. He just didn't have the punchline for us to put away the win. Yeah, and Golf was a younger quarterback. Basically, his growth in the NFL was cut off with Jeff Fisher starting him out. Jeff Fisher is a great defensive minded coach. And it reminds me of when we had Sam Bradford back in the day in St. Louis, and Jeff Fisher, we got the great defense, but we never did get him a good wide receivers. Amendola was there, but he was a young Amendola. We never got top of the line guys, for Sam Bradford, and he was pretty good, and he ended up getting hurt again, had even problems like that. But same thing with James Laurinaitis, the great linebacker. He played on some horrible teams, and he was never able to show what he could do in prime time. It's just the way things go sometimes. It's crazy. King Easy says he put in work with Indianapolis. Yes, indeed. G12 says welcome, Joe. Yes, indeed. Tribe says, hey, Grandizer. Yes, indeed. King, he said he was one game away from getting the Colts to the playoffs. Love it. Yeah, man. Carson Wentz. Sometimes guys struggle. Ever since the injury, he's struggled. And he's tried to prove himself. Sometimes, your mind's not right. You're getting the right environment. Here with the Rams, he's going to be a backup. And McVay has a fountain of information that he can just do this, do that. He can get him on the right track because Carson Wentz does have big time talent. He's got a big time arm, right? So we'll see what happens. It's kind of like over in up north with Kyle Shanahan and Sam Darnold. They think because Kyle Shanahan is the offensive guru, then it can rub off on Sam Darnold. But Brock Purdy is concussed, and they're like, no, he's fine. They didn't want to take off the bubble wrap off of Sam Darnold and let him start. I mean, let the kid rest. He's your franchise quarterback, so to speak. You finally got your quarterback, and no, he's fine. No, I gave him some 7-Up. That's how great Sam Darnold is, but they have their own problems over there. But yes, indeed, Joseph's Grandizer 12. Yes, indeed. Tribe says Remelia Kyrene should be back too. Yes, he should be back. Now there was an issue. I haven't had a chance to look into it, but there was an issue with that because he's on the IR, he has to be out 4 games and he might miss the Seahawks game. So that's gonna suck, dude. That'll suck if he's not gonna be available for the Seahawks game. I haven't read anything else about it. But that does sound about right. If you go on the IR, you have to miss a certain amount of games. And so I hope he'll be back. I want all of our guns blazing, baby. I want all of our guns blazing. G12 says, welcome, King Easy. Yes, indeed. Yes. Joe says, Niners suck. Cue the best. King Easy says, those refs were trash in those games. Yeah, man. You know what? I'm going to say, what is up with my, let's see. I got some interference somewhere. I just worry about it after. Anyway, so the referees, you never want to blame the refs, but they took away a TD from Tutu Atwell. They grabbed his jersey in the end zone, and they didn't call it against the Bengals. and we lost the game by 3 points. I guess the Steelers, they're like, you didn't make it, or they made it. That was a horrible spot, and because you don't have a timeout, they're like, that's okay. Forget about forget about making the right call. They don't have any timeouts. Wait, just let it be. I got something at 3:00. That's so stupid, man. The NFL has too much money invested. People are betting on games, and you allow that shit to happen. Excuse my French. G12 says LA Rams remaining schedule. We're 3-6 bye. The bye is going on right now. Seattle Seahawks at Arizona Cardinals, Cleveland Browns, Baltimore Ravens, Washington Commanders, New Orleans Saints, New York Giants, San Francisco 49ers. So let's look at it right there real quick. Let's say Matthew Stafford comes right out of the gate. He's healthy, right? We got Carson Wentz back there, 2 good weeks over under his belt, getting some reps. Most likely he's going to get a few reps too because of Matthew's thumb, relaxing with gripping the ball, not throwing a whole lot, so he gets more reps. They're going to be in the meetings together and what to go over and stuff. And so here we go. So let's look at that. So the Seahawks, I can see us beating them again, especially they're coming off a horrible game against the Ravens. We're coming out fresh off of the bye. Everyone, the guys that need to be healthy, Stafford's thumb, and hopefully No Boom won't be banged up anymore. Larry Jackson looked like he was banged up in a couple of those games. It's been a rough season on our offensive line. We started out really good, and then we kind of as the guys got hurt, shuffled, and at least Dotson was a diamond in the rough. So I can see us beating the Seahawks. I can see us beating the Cardinals. All of a sudden, Murray's back in the fold, though. The Cleveland Browns, a formidable defense, but I can see us beating them. Okay, let's just say we're 3-0 right there. Now that's the first time that we would be 3-0, 3 straight wins. I'm like, wow, we're on our way. Baltimore Ravens, let's just call that a loss. So we got one more loss to go with. Washington Commanders, we can beat them. New Orleans Saints, we can beat them. New York Giants, we can beat them. The 49ers, maybe they have the division sewed up. They don't play anybody. Maybe we play 2 halves of a good game and beat them anyway. Let's just say if we lost that game, I'd hate to say that, but let's just say we did. There's our 2 losses. We're 9-8. Okay. The NFC keeps losing. Let's say we lose to the Seahawks, come out of the gate, right? We're 3-7. We're like, holy smack. So then we end up 8-9 with one of these games here. We should have won or didn't win. We can still make the playoffs if the NFC keeps losing. Now you say, well, why do you want to make the playoffs with a horrible record? Well, because we want to have us in the fold. You're throwing your hat in the ring in postseason. That's why. So, but that is what that is. But yes, indeed. Thank you, G12. Fernando says, what's up, Rudy? What's up, brother? Appreciate you so much. My guy, Fernando. Let's see. Fernando says, locked on. Ram said Bennett is done, that he won't come back. Yeah, he's not going to come back for the year. I've heard that too. This is why, my guy Jake and Ellen Mogan was talking about it too. He talks about it a lot. And I agree with him. And for me, like I've said this before, I don't understand why we go into the season with Stetson Bennett, because they know more than what they're telling us. That's a personal issue. They're not going to go into it, right? And then rightly so. So if it's not a football thing and he's on the IR or IF, whatever you call it, then you need to find a quarterback. And having Brett Rippon to start the season, and I know that, he may not even play. Yeah, but if he does play, and again, they didn't have game film on him with us. They saw how horrible he is, but come on, man. I mean, go get a veteran quarterback. I mean, Stan Kroenke's got unlimited resources. It wouldn't cost us a lot. Don't understand that. It costed us anyway. We could have even set Stafford for the Packer game. And if we had Carson Wentz, you probably could have beat him without, and Stafford could have got extra rest for his hip pointer. Remember, he had that hip pointer. That's the one thing I love McVay. He won the chip. I don't want anybody else to coach except for him, but that's where they messed up. That's where they messed up for sure. And also messy with Cam Akers. Because there's a lot of stuff that we don't know about him. And I'm sorry about Cam Akers getting injured. He ended up messing up his other Achilles, and he's out for the season and may be done. But unfortunately for him, that's the how it goes. But he did win a Super Bowl with us, and he helped us win it. Ellie Lou says, I didn't know about this year coming into it. We were a team of question marks because of all the direction we were taking. We have winnable games coming, and I hope we lay the foundation. That's exactly right. That's a great comment. That's exactly a great way to put it, Ellie Lou. So basically this year we're trying to win, trying to get into postseason for our fan base and everybody, and then we throw our hat in the ring in postseason, and I like our chances. Let's say we have a healthy Cooper Kupp, a healthy Puka, a healthy Stafford, offensive line's going good, Kyrie Williams healthy, looking pretty good. I like our chances in the playoffs against anybody. Not saying that we're going to win the Super Bowl, but, you never say, well, we're not going to win it. We've got guys that have won it before. There's been some weird things happen. I mean, if you would have told me that the Texas Rangers are going to be world champions and the Diamondbacks were going to be in the playoffs, but not my Dodgers at the beginning of the year. Crazy, man. It's crazy. Yes, indeed. Joe says this season Bennett is done, but there was a hint that he may not be. There was a hint that may not be back next season. Right now, he's dealing with personal issues that wasn't stated. Yeah, so that's exactly right. So I'm hoping that you like forget that I'm a Ram fan and forget that he's on our team. You like the kid to be all that he's gone through. No one's given him anything. He was a walk-on. Won 2 national championships. He gets to play with McVay, play under McVay, and but it hasn't worked out. He's got some other stuff that he needs to work on. I hope he'll be fine. That's number one. Forget the football side. You got to be right mentally. And so I hope he gets whatever he needs to get done. And if he does come back, God bless him. But it's disappointing on the player side for us because we wanted to see what the kid can do. I was excited. I was like, man, even preseason games are going to be exciting with the 2-time national champion, the way he can move and he's got moxie and stuff. And, but we didn't get to see too much of that. So, and I think when he had that one horrible game, I think that's, I'm not blaming it on that, but I think that had a lot to do with it, his mental state at that time. And then all of a sudden, a few weeks later, he's on the IF. So, yep. Yes. L.A. Lou, welcome, L.A. Lou. Yes, indeed. GP Shuttle. Sup, Rudy? What's up, brother? I appreciate you. Thanks for coming in. Sup, Ramley. G. Tross says, you would think that the Vikings would sign Wentz after Kurt went down. So I don't know about the signing. It was surprising that other teams didn't do it, but a lot of teams, they don't trust him. A lot of teams don't have the coaching that's willing to take a chance. Like we have a McVay, and we'll see what happens. But there's been crazier things. You remember we got Eric Whittle from the scrap heap. We ended up getting Henderson. Look at this year, okay? Look at this year. Cooper Kupp and all the guys have a chip on their shoulder. They want to. It's revenge tour, right? The offense is going to carry the load. This young defense is going to come around by the half. I was telling you guys, by the halfway mark, they'll be getting better. Well, they've been good from the start. They've kept us in games. The offense has been an issue because Cooper Kupp wasn't there. We had to rely on Puka Nacua, who was him, and he is him. And so it's been different. But look, Kyrie Williams broke out, right? And he was scoring touchdowns at a Marshall Faulk pace. And then he got hurt. And then we had to go and get Hendo from the scrap heap, Rolls Royce Freeman, right? And then Puka Nacua, luckily he's there. And so he did his thing. Tutu Atwell finally broke out. Now he's been missing. He's been MIA the last few games, but there's been some nice things. Steven Avila has showed that he's an NFL caliber player, one of the better young prospects, offensive line prospects in the NFL. We actually, because we struggled at certain positions, we went out and we got Dotson. We went out and we got Witherspoon. So we're like a clay mold. We're on the fly. We're doing what we can do. We gave up a few games that we could have won. And so with those question marks, like you said, we haven't capitalized We haven't really won a game. Like I said, it's going to take us winning games that we weren't supposed to. So that's when we need to start doing that now. Hopefully out of the bye, we'll come out and we'll do that. But yes, indeed. King says, we beat the Niners when it mattered. That's exactly right, baby. The NFC Championship game. Exactly right. LA Rams says, I still think the Rams go 10-7. Love it, man. We just got to get on a roll, man. I mean, like I said, our schedule, those teams that I told you, the Ravens are tough. Niners are tough. Seahawks, we've been very fortunate to match up good with them, and they're going to be pissed, after we beat them. But Geno is Geno. I'd rather have Stafford and the guys against Geno and them, and I think we can beat them again. Yes, indeed. There's my guy Monster. What's up, my Ramilia? Love the shirt, Rudy. Rams will make the playoffs. Horns up. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Yeah, this is one of my favorite shirts. The NFC Championship game. The Rams and the team with the season finished logo on their helmet. SoFi flushed. Is that San Francisco or does that stand for SoFi flushed? LA Sus Pedro Serrano. Yes, indeed. Pedro Serrano. Joe Boo. I need some. Where's my I don't got nothing. Dang it. No, got nothing. Don't got nothing. Jobu. we need some wins, great Ram Jobu. Pedro Serrano. Love that movie, man. And people were saying that movie was kind of written about the woman who shall be named as a former Rams owner that was here in Los Angeles that took the team to St. Louis. A lot of that because she was running the team into the ground, allegedly, and they were able to up and move. And similar thing that they did in St. Louis. To come back to LA, but a lot of people are saying because it was a gal owner that they were kind of fashioning after her, even though it's a different personality. She was very cordial and nice to the players, but they never wanted to pay the players where they're here now in Los Angeles. I mean, it was horrible. They didn't even want to give. Eric Dickerson was a franchise running back, one of the greatest running backs of all time. He carried the 1985 Los Angeles Rams to the championship game with 4'2" Dieter Brock from the Canadian League. Or well past his prime, right? And only to face the 85 Bears at Chicago in horrible weather. They didn't want to pay him. Are you kidding me? So he ended up having to leave. And then when we got all those draft picks, John Robinson didn't want him to go. John Robinson wanted to draft Thurman Thomas. And he wanted to move up and get a wide receiver from Miami named Michael Irvin. But John Shaw, the GM at that time, the woman who shall be nameless henchman, wouldn't allow it, from what I understand, because at that time John Robinson didn't have power like Les Snead and McVay do now. He didn't have power. They worked together, Les Snead and McVay, so they wouldn't do it, and we ended up getting guys like Sean LaChapelle, Gaston Green, and they were okay, but they were no Thurman Thomas, and nobody knew what was going to happen at that time, but John Robinson knows what he was doing. He was not many years out of the college, scene with USC, and he knew a lot of coaches still. Yes, indeed, love it. Monster says, please hit the like button. Yes, guys, hit the like button, please. It helps the algorithm, helps people find me. Thank you guys for coming in. Monster says, good to see you, G12. Yes, indeed. G Trust is a Colts content creator that I follow. Bring the Juice said last year that Wentz is done. His best days are behind him. Well, if he didn't play good with them, I can see them saying that. We will see. I haven't seen a lot of Wentz since he left the Eagles, but we will see. We will see. He does have the arm and everything. We'll see, because his arm wasn't hurt and he's not old. I think it's more mental. G12 says, what's up, Monster It? Yes, indeed. Steve-O says, thoughts on Young signing. You're talking about your guy Young, Washington Young. So the Young signing is good on paper, and it for sure makes the Niners better because he's a top of the line edge rusher, right? It's probably a rental because you're not going to be able to sign him. He's going to want more money next year, but you have your own issues with Ayuk, but it does make the Niners better from the pass rush perspective of it helps somebody across from Bosa, and you can rotate guys. But the issue is that cornerback and the offensive line, those are the things that and it's hard to find an offensive line guy, but we did it. We got Dotson. Where was Kyle Shanahan and Lynch on the Dotson thing? He's a really good pickup for us. But yeah, he's good. He's a good player. Definitely a good player. I wanted him or Montez Sweet. Leaning on Montez Sweet, but it's a possibility we still might get him to put over there with Byron Young, who we'll get to. Thank you, Steve, for coming in. Alex G says it's crazy how Wentz joins the team that got him injured in 2017 season. The Eagles Super Bowl run before Foles took over. Yeah, we always kid with the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Yeah, but you wouldn't have flew if the Rams didn't knock Wentz out and the magic of Foles stepped in. You should thank the Rams. But he was amazing, man. I mean, that year, even in the game against the Rams, he was running around. He was no joke, man. The guy was basically Josh Allen in his top of his game. And he got hurt and never was the same. Just never was the same. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Detroit's draft, according to Tuckathon, Los Angeles Rams 3-6 are currently positioned to draft number 6 overall in the first round of the 2024 draft. Love it. Cool, bro. What's up, brother? He says, hi, Remelia. What's up, man? Appreciate you, man, coming in. Avatar Sai says, you guys made a mistake trading Golf. Well, that's a good take by you, but at the time, Avatar, we didn't want to trade him. But if you remember at that time, McVay was getting flack for he talks to him in the first 15 minutes. He tells Goff what to go with the ball because Goff was his progress was impeded with Jeff Fisher being his quarterback. And then when McVay got there, the whole world, the sunlight came out and the restrooms flushed and everything, and it was a new world, a whole new world, all that stuff. And he woke up McVay. I mean, he woke up Jared Goff. But he started to, the R word, regress a little bit. He hit a plateau. The young quarterback was making the same mistakes over and over again. And at that time, Whitworth was long in the tooth already. Aaron Donald's contract was coming up, and we wanted to make sure we were able to secure that chip before they left or moved or Andrew Whitworth retired, because you see the issue that we have at left tackle now that Whitworth is retired, because he is one of the greats of all time at that position, similar to Trent Williams with the Niners, and he possibly is out longer. They're talking about today that his injury is worse than they thought. That's horrible for them. But so at the time, Stafford became available, and we heard that Kyle Shanahan needed a quarterback too, as he still maybe still does. McVay got him and said, hey, Kroenke, Stafford is the guy. We need to get him, and the rest is history. We got that chip. In that season. Sorry, getting my phone. So in that season, the throws that Stafford made in the NFC Championship game to bring us back, Goff was not ready to do that. The no-look pass, that's not Goff's game. But I wouldn't trade it. But now it's easy to say, well, Stafford is older now. Goff has a lot more football in him. He's playing really good, but yeah, he needed those seasons to get better to get to this point, and we just couldn't wait for him. We could be here with Goff and still be not a Super Bowl champion. Let's see. Oh, Steve-O. What happened, Steve-O? Stay away from Beto. He doesn't give his giveaways, even if you donate. Wow, I hope that's not true, Steve-O. I hope that's not true 5 months later. Wow. I mean, I've seen him give away stuff. I don't think he would do that. Maybe there's some kind of miscommunication. I hope that's not true, man. There's my guy, Gammon Brown. What's up, brother? How you doing, Gammon? I want to give this Gammon Brown, if you guys don't forget, he's a big Niner fan, but he's a good dude. And I salute you, brother. Thank you for coming in. How you doing, man? Gammon Brown is also in our armed services. And so salute you, brother. Appreciate you so much for coming in, man. And we'll see, man. See, you're one of the guys. Like, you already know that I hate the Niners, right? Any chance I get, I like to talk about them, make fun of them, rather. But you're one of the guys, if they were to win it, as much as I would hate it, I would be happy for you. You and a couple of my Niner content creator friends. I would be happy for you, man, because it's wonderful to see your team win the Super Bowl, man. And as Niner fans from back in the day, the OG Niner fans, they got to see multiple wins, many of them in a 13-year span. So it's amazing. Kubros' Avatar, no, we did not. We got Stafford, yes, indeed. Well, at that time, yeah, we would probably still not be champions if we would have did that. Yes, indeed. May the force be with you, Kubro. Yes, indeed. G-Toss says, welcome, Gavin Brown. Yes, indeed. Avatar says, Kubro, agree, Stafford got you the trophy. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, though. I would have loved to have Stafford 10 years ago, a younger Stafford, but McVay wasn't here. You just got to do what you have to do. And that's why it's so surprising that Kyle Shanahan didn't tell Brady, yes, come with us. Or Aaron Rodgers, we need to get him. I mean, I know you want to do it your certain way, but it's that window goes with all the free agent crap, guys leaving all the time. We've lost so many players. Yes, indeed. Yep. G12 says, oye, big boy habla español, échale, who's casa? The Rams casa. You love it. Avatar says, Wentz usually beats my Niners. Isn't that crazy? One thing about the thing with the Niners, like, they're a very good team, right? As a Ram fan, they're so fast and team speed's really good and everything. And the Rams game plan has been, let them get the ball in front of them. Don't let nothing beat you behind you. Well, that's their game plan. They like to get yak yards. They throw the ball short and then they run it deep. Now Purdy throws a little bit further out at times, and they have good run game. And we have lightweight. Our linebackers haven't been really good. Ernest Jones been better, but also Ernest Jones will be back after the bye too, healthy. But he was learning. He was a rookie 2021. But then we fall into the Niners' strengths. Not great linebacking core. We allow them to catch balls in front of us, and then Debo makes a couple of moves and he's gone. And then on offense, because we can't run the ball, they're able to get after our, we got to throw the ball. And when you throw the ball, deep passes like we do, and you throw it in small windows, it's more susceptible to getting picked off or tipped up and intercepted. So it's just weird how the teams go. But yeah, it's crazy that Wentz. I didn't really know that Wentz is successful against the Niners. Kubro says, question: has anyone read The Exorcist? I'm going to have to read it for my channel. Oh, I haven't read it, but I saw the movie, man. I heard that the book is crazier. G12 Rams news. Samuel L. Jackson wants the Los Angeles Rams coaching change. Rudy was there? ? He wants some changes for sure. Gavin Brown says, how long is Stafford out? And any other big injuries? Stafford will be out. He supposedly he's going to come back for the Seattle game after the bye. And the other injury is Kyren Williams, our running back, may not be available because of the putting him on IR. Maybe that was a clerical mistake on their part because we needed to bring in a running back. And so he may miss the Seattle game. I have to look into that. But everybody else seems to be back after that. Ernest Jones, hopefully, our middle linebacker. Cool Bros says Stafford expected to come back in our next game. Ganem, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. G12 says, cool bro, no, have not read it. Have you seen the 1970 movie? Have you seen The Exorcist? Emily Rose. Emily Rose is crazy too. And then USA Hockey 3434 says, what up, fool? Like our guy, the comedian, what's his name with the long hair? My cousin. He says, what up, fool? He has a What Up Fool podcast. Hold on. Felipe Esparza. What up, fool? Welcome, Fernando. Kubro says, have you not seen that movie, G12? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You got that. I got that. Lost you for a sec. Okay, internet's quacky. Okay, let's look at the signal. Looks like it's okay now. Thank you. GJ Photo. What's good, Mr. Rudy? It ain't over till it's over. Yes, indeed, it's not over. We still got some ways to go. Kubro says, oh, Ramila, I don't think I told you, but I got to meet Peo for the first time on a stream. It was fun. Oh, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I love it. I love it. LA Lou says, do we know what number Wentz is going to wear? I'm assuming number 11. Rippon's not there no more. Let's get into some clips real quick. Here we go. Let's get into some clips. Let's see. So here's Cooper Kupp giving back. And we talk about how the Rams give back to the community in Los Angeles. Here's Cooper Kupp with Nike's help coming in and talking to some high school kids. And I believe it's high school. And just giving back. A great guy.
You know, when I first got in here, what was really interesting was how do I reestablish the trust between the athletes and the coaching staff here and resetting the culture.
This year, I'm going to step in, partner with you guys, go through the season with you guys, and I'm hoping to be able to put together a little thing with Nike and get you guys something nice this year.
With Coop, this is for the kids, all right? And somebody like Cooper Kupp, who's one of the top receivers in the NFL, that's going to inject a tremendous amount of energy in a program that's in desperate need of some energy. It's been a rocky path for us. This point differential is pretty extraordinary. We've scored 19 points and given up 150-something points. Having something like this for our kids, this kind of right now is the highlight for our season.
These are going to be the two bases that we run, cover 6 and cover 4. We got to stay deep. Got to stay deep. Got to stay deep.
That one there, he's clear. It's like, boom, I get to the 5th step. He's down. It's like, oh, that's cool.
It's a journey, and just as it is in life, I mean, if you're always looking for this destination at the end of it, you're always looking to like achieve this thing, and that is going to be the thing that justifies everything else. It's just so empty. If you have that mindset, you miss all this.
A short clip of that. So that's just Cooper Kupp giving back, man. Imagine being a young guy like that, and you're looking at Cooper Kupp. I mean, Super Bowl champion, Triple Crown winner, wealth of football knowledge. I mean, giving you some pointers. I mean, amazing, you know. And then here's our guy Quentin Lake, real quick, from Irvine, talking about on the high school tip as well. Guys that he played against, guys that he played with.
Why don't we talk modern day just for a second there, because those who are around the Southland know what that means and kind of the prep sports scene. But for those who don't, like, who are, name drop on us, who were some of your guys in high school?
So we had the Gatorade Player of the Year, JT Daniels, one year. I missed him by 1 year, but Heisman Trophy winner Bryce Young, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We had Osiris St. Brown, Nico Remugio. We had a ton of D1 guys. But I would say the ones I was closest with would probably be Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I've been following his career for a while. Talk to him every week. So
do you?
Yeah. So it's good to see guys that you went against in high school and also played with in high school, you know, glow up and do well in the NFL.
There he is talking about that. And he's had a pretty good season coming off the injury. And, you know, he's just going to get better. There's another young guy of ours. G12 talks about Cooper Kupp is having the worst slump of his career. Yeah, they can't figure out how to use them both. And I think he's not 100%. He looks good out there, but hopefully this extra rest, too, will help him as well. Jacques42 says, what's up, Rudy? Wentz will dominate under McVay. I'm calling it now. Love it. Love it. And G12, welcome everybody. Kubro says, I have been a big SW fan since I was 5. G12, I collect all that stuff. Know everything about it. Read the comics. Even watch what Disney's doing with it. So yeah, I'm definitely a big fan. Love that, man. Love that. Yes, indeed. Ali Ram says, it's Modelo time. Cheers. Love it, man. Love it. I haven't read many Legends books, though. I have read a lot of canon, though. Love it, man. I used to draw. I can draw very good, but you know, I had neck fusion surgery, and sometimes I can't. You know, my dexterity and stuff. You know, but I haven't really done it in a while, but I used to buy comics and learn how to shade, the different techniques and stuff. It's really cool to really awesome comics too that they have. Jock 42 says, I'm excited to see what Wentz can do. Me too, man. Me too. Kubro says, G2 says, Kubro, I have to catch your video when you read the Exodus. Do you like that stuff? Ouija boards. Woo! I stay away from Ouija boards, man. We haven't done Ouija board, Kubro. Okay. Ghost hunting egg. Ooh. Gavin Brown says, bath in holy water, bro. That's funny. My guy Gavin Brown says, everyone, please raise your glasses and have a beer. Rudy, please join us in the chat. Yes, indeed. I don't have a beer, but but yes, indeed. You know what, Gavin, do you guys if you guys have your camera on, or even if you want to call in, we can do this here. If you guys want to call in, we can talk about some stuff. We've been on for 51 minutes. It goes so fast. Thank you guys, SM, all you guys, DJ, Phono, Jacques 42. I'm going to get to your monster. It says, remember when we had Ironhead Hayward? I love it, man. Yep. Jacques 42 says, it's tamale season, Rudy. What's your favorite tamale? Pork tamales. I like sweet ones. They're okay too. Tribe says, I remember Trunk Candidate was a bust. Yeah, Trunk Candidate, man. SM says, I made a mistake trading golf, LOL. So winning a Super Bowl is a mistake. Yeah, I understand what he was saying, though. He's good now, but and Stafford is older. But yep. Okay, so if you guys want to get in, I'm gonna, Gavin, if you're able to come in, man, I'm gonna put the thing in the StreamYard link in the chat. And you guys can come in here for the last few minutes if you guys want to come in here. I'm putting it in there right now, and I'll put you guys backstage. Thank you, guys. I'm just skipping around. Thank you guys for coming in. I appreciate you. Oh, man, I'm sorry, Steve, what that happened, man. I really don't think, I think it's a mistake that he didn't send you your stuff. I'm sorry about that, man. I know when I had I'm gonna keep doing giveaways, but I haven't gone to a game in a little bit, so I haven't got anything to give anyone. I like to give stuff from the game, and I was all worried because I didn't get it out when I said I was. But I'm sorry. Monster says I need a Ramiro shirt too. I will soon, man. Promise you. I promise you, Monster. I'm gonna give you yours because you keep asking for it. I haven't furnished it, but I'm giving you yours, man. Gavin Russ says, let's go. Camera ready to go. Perfect. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's see. Yep. Let's see. Click on that and I'll put you backstage. And anybody else that wants to come on, you can in the last few minutes. And I'll still read the chats. If you guys want to come on, you don't have to have your camera. You can we can just do the voice. You can just like you're calling in. So there's the link right there, Cameron, in the chat. I'll post it again as well. Let me write in there. DJ Funnels, are you going to any home games? I'm looking forward to going, man. It's been a rough go of it this year. I was hoping to go to a few, and it hasn't worked out. But yes, I am. Yes, I am, man. And while we wait to see if someone's going to come in, let's look at the maestro Kobe Turner on the sideline.
Yeah! Super Cooper! Super Cooper! We got to go get this.
Second down and 10 from the Rams 46. To the air again. Well protected. Bounces. Pats the ball. Now it breaks down. Now he's sacked! Drop back in Packers territory as the clock runs out. Kobe Turner, the conductor, strikes up the band deep in this opening half.
Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Come on, boy! Come on, boy! Come on! Yeah! 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 Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yeah! Hello! Hello!
That's Kobe Turner. Now he's had his spots and he's getting his way. But I see you, Cobra. I'll bring you in right now. So he's had his spots and he's finding his way. But this draft, there's not enough being said about it nationally. I mean, Kobe Turner, Byron Young, Puka Nacua, Steve Avila, Travarius Tomlinson has a chance to show what he can do. A lot of reps yet, but our punter, he didn't have a great game recently, but big leg punter. And so, and we still have some other guys that can still have time to show what they could do. Also last year, Quentin Lake, Kobe Durant hasn't been the guy that we thought he was this year, but he's still there. You know, he's still an NFL a starting player, and he's got a great attitude, and the sky's the limit. Kyrie Williams, we drafted him a couple years ago. The job that Les needs, I know there's a lot of things that he hasn't done, but he's done a great job with these young guys. I mean, Bobby Brown III will be coming back soon as well. My prerogative. And so, you know, the job that Les Need has done can't go unnoticed. Let's see. SM says, dope shirt, Rudy. But shouldn't the Niners logo say SC Santa Clara? Yep. I see you, Cameron. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. G12 says, Rudy, please discuss Nuestra Señora de la Santa Mureta, Our Lady of Holy Death. No llores. Okay, hold on. One second. Let me get my guy Kubro in here.
What's up, bro?
How you doing, man? How you doing? How's everything going?
Good. Everything's going good. G12, G12, I want to tell G12 something real quick.
Yeah.
G12, I was talking to you about Star Wars. Here's my Star Wars collection. A lot of different stuff. I've been collecting this stuff since I was 5. And then I have all the stuff on the bottom, right here. And here's my Boba Fett action figure. Darth Maul. This guy and Sergeant Creel are probably like my favorites. And then I have some comics right here.
Love it, man.
Just a lot of fun stuff.
I love it, man. You know, I'm a big Star Wars geek.
So yeah,
too.
so fun to
I'm a big Star Wars geek too, man. I call myself that because I had all the toys growing up. I had the original toys from the 70s, the loose figures, you know, my Star Wars head case. And even we went to Oogie Boogie nights at Disneyland because we're blessed to have the passes for Disneyland, but you buy the tickets. And I went with my long hair, and I had the Kylo Ren, you know, the little long bandage over his eye. I had that. I'll show you guys pics one day, and I was all black, and I had the Kylo Ren, you know, lightsaber. We do that all the time, man. It's awesome.
Once when I was like younger, I had this.
Mm-hmm.
When I was younger, I had this stormtrooper costume, and I wore that thing for like the whole entire day.
Love it. That's awesome. You know, I even got a 3D printer because I was going to make myself a 3D printed C-3PO, and I was going to sand it, you know, and have it stood up in the corner. And it was making. I have the head somewhere. But it conked out on me, and it was from China. You know, you order from China, and so I got to get another one. The motherboard messed up, but I was getting pretty good. You know, you get the fill and all that stuff. You know, the right amount of fill. You don't use a lot of plastic, but it still doesn't. You know, it's still durable. But that's awesome. But okay, let's get into the Rams. So tell me, Kubro, what excites you about upcoming after the bye? What do you think? What are you looking forward to seeing?
I'm just excited that we don't have to see Brent Ripon anymore. I'm excited that we're getting Carson Wentz. I would take any Q. I would take like my bunny over Brent Ripon. But yeah, just super happy to see a new QB. And if Stafford still can't play on the next game during the Seahawks on the 19th, then I will be happy to see Carson Wentz play for us.
Yeah, man. And I'm going to tell you something too, because you're a younger fella. I'm going to tell you this time right now with McVay and you already won. We already got to see the Super Bowl win in Los Angeles. Me being an older Ram fan from back in the day when they were here before, the Rams were always close to getting to the Super Bowl. We would get to the championship game or we would get to the Super Bowl and we would lose. And we would never get over the top. So with now a Stan Kroenke there in Los Angeles, returning to Los Angeles, and we already won the Super Bowl. Now we're trying to get more. Whatever, like your Star Wars stuff, you know how you collect that? Anything that you can get your hands on that has to do with the Rams Super Bowl winning or hats or whatever, maybe if you get a chance, buy one for sure, but buy a second one to put in the drawer. Because you never know what's going to happen. Dan Marino thought that he was going to be back in another Super Bowl after he went in '84, and that's before your time, but he never went back. So that way you can say, well, I got my hat, and I got my gear. I remember that time. So we got that ship. We're trying to get back. Now tell me, what worries you now about after the bye? What worries you now about the team? And then we'll get to Gammon. I see you, Gammon.
I don't know if I have anything to worry about before. I kind of just need to see them play against the Seahawks before and see if I'm worried about them yet. I think the biggest thing that I was worried about from this week was Brent Ripon, because I think he's the only reason why we lost. I'm not blaming Puka. I'm not blaming anyone else on the team. I think this is all on Ripon. That's the only reason why I think we lost.
Yeah, man. You know what? I love McVay, and I said this before. I don't want nobody else as my head coach except for Sean McVay. But I don't understand why we would open up this season with Stafford coming off an injury, our offensive line retooled, and just saying, oh, well, everything should be fine, and ripping. Well, Stetson Bennett was there, but even Stetson Bennett was a young guy. We could have brought somebody else besides Ripon instead of Ripon. So that's one thing that I don't agree with them. But yeah, we'll see what happens with Carson Wentz. He's a very good quarterback. I think with McVay and our running game, as long as we remember to run the ball and we have the weapons at our disposal, and Carson Wentz is able to, hopefully he won't get in there anymore. Hopefully Stafford will just take off and lead us all the way through. Except for maybe we get a blowout here or there and we pull Stafford and Carson Wentz can get some reps. That would be wonderful. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. But always remember, as Ram fans and yourself that I have you on here, is this season is the season that we're paying the bill for going all in. $75 million in cap space. Buy Jalen Ramsey, buy Leonard Floyd. You buy all those guys. We need to re-up now. So next year we have our cap money. We have more draft picks. Our first number 1 draft pick. Les Snead has already said he's going to go back to his aggressive ways in free agency. We just need to stay patient, know that there's a plan. And but it's good to see you, man. I'll have you back on again soon, man. Take care and stay positive about the team. And I love it, man. Go Rams.
Yeah, go Rams. Horns up, everybody. And it was super fun getting to talk to you, Ramili, on the stream. Horns
Thank
up,
you, man.
everybody.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you, brother. All right, let's get my guy Gammon Brown, and then we'll get back into the comments as well as we talk. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you. And also respect my guy Gammon Brown, because he is a Niner fan, but he is he's a special guest of mine, and he's also one of our a salute to him, because he's one of our for U.S. Armed Forces. And much love to him. Here he goes, our guy Gammon Brown. What's up, brother? How you doing?
Sir, how you doing? Doing
Good,
great.
man. Thank you, brother. How's
if
life
you-
treating you?
After seeing the spirit of that young man up on here and just seeing how excited he was about life, everything else, you wouldn't be able to tell that, my team right now going through like a 3-game losing streak, or your team being like 3-6. Like that's the kind of resiliency. There's a lot of things I miss when I was younger, but just that, just like a couple hours later, it just, things don't matter, right? Like life marches forward. So,
That's right.
but to me, that's what the essence of the energy with that young man had. Cap on, strong, happy, in his room. Parents probably had no idea he was on scene. It's just like, I was like, what are my kids? I went out and was like, what are my kids doing? But that's awesome. I wish, I had something like that when I was a kid, because it used to be, you'd fire up the radio, and then you'd try and call into the radio station, right? Like it kind of reminded me of that scene from Waterboy where he just called into Captain Insano. He was like, how old are you, kid? Like 7 or 8. And he was like, I'm 35. He just like let up this big old laugh, But it's absolutely incredible. I'm pretty sure the young man's still watching, but what's funny was he was this big Star Wars fan. I was just like, gosh, are we really, like, we're in the same state, but is LA and San Francisco really that far apart? Because Star Trek, right? Oh gosh, let me move this. But Star Trek, the Starfleet base is centered right there. Actually, it's stationed in, and I'm using quotations because it's fictitious, in San Francisco. So
that's awesome.
But I was like, could that not clash any more than
see,
that?
I'm gonna tell you something, Cameron Brown. Like, okay, like we love what we love. Like, I call myself a geek. I wasn't talking to him. I'm talking about me, because I'm the ultimate geek. I love computers. I love anything, sci-fi. I love Star Wars. That was my main thing. But I also had love for Star Trek, especially the old series, because I'm an older guy. Captain Kirk, and then they had the movies. One of the movies that hit my heartstrings was with spoiler alert, when Spock was in that room and the radiation and stuff, and they were in the two sides, and Kirk was out there, he was crying, and then they had the funeral. I go, what? I'm not gonna do anymore. It's an old movie now, but they ended up releasing Spock into space, like, what? That really happened? You expect them to be okay, and then they had the movie. Those movies were amazing.
Isn't that a good metaphor for Ripien? Do you think McVay went to him, and when he was like, when he saw, like, on social media, he called up McVay and he was like, hey, you guys got Wentz? And he was like, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Just hung up the phone. You know what I mean? It was just like, sorry, bud.
I love it, man. I love it. Oh man, that's wonderful. And I always see, the way I am too is like, the Star Wars community, some of them OG guys like me don't like the new movies. Some of them.
I mean,
right.
Yeah.
My main thing with those, I love anything Star Wars, but the first movie back, they never had a scene with all of them back together. Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
All the guys,
right.
Not one scene. That was a horrible miss. And then Luke Skywalker, and then Luke Skywalker throws the lightsaber behind him. Like, what? Who wrote that? Right. So I always thought it would be really cool if one of our movies had where we see the USS Enterprise as a cameo. To tie them together, or they help, in some way. And I know OG purists would hate it, but that would be so cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about, you look at Marvel and everything like that, and they're trying to figure out a way through all the multiversal stuff, that's how they call it. But Star Trek had that in its DNA, written into where you could have easily, here's a wormhole, or however you want to do it, but it could have easily did it. I mean, they even did it with the First Contact, right, where Picard had to go back and defeat the Borg and everything else. But I was a very huge, I'm Marvel, not so much DC. I'm Star Trek. I still love Star Wars. I just remember as a kid, I would sit there and I remember like it was like on like TNT or TBS, whatever it was. And I would just sit down there with my dad and they would just play like the old Star Wars movies, back in the early 90s. And I would just sit there with like my piece of bread and some honey, and I would just squirt that all over the bread and just eat that, just fold it in half. And I was happier than a pig in mud. Great memories. But yeah, I mean, you gotta love them both. I don't know why you have to have so much tribalism, between the two, but they were great experiences. Absolutely.
I love them both. I love them both. It is some people, getting on, you can like both things. So that's the way I am. I mean, even the new guys, the new movies are cool too. Okay, so let's get into our team. So tell me, what you're happy with, in the first part of the season as we're in the bye,
right.
And also what you're worried about and just what you want to talk about with your team.
Okay, because then after this, I do want to ask you, and so you can kind of get this kind of ready.
Okay.
But because and let's be honest, right? Regular fans, you're going to focus on your team, and the only time that you really see another team or know about another team in depth or in detail is when you play that team. And when we played you guys, I kind of went, and I don't know if I'm allowed to curse, but I just kind of went, "Oh, Foxtrot!" Like they're not even their whole wide receiver core isn't even here. And this guy Puka is he's goosing us right now. Like it was not good. And then you looked at Stafford, and he looked like 6 years had come off because he was absolutely, oh gosh, this is gonna sound bad, but he was buttering those balls like in there. Pause. But I mean, it was just like I was like, holy hell! And they don't even have cutback, and I was just like. I was like, man, we're gonna get eaten. We're gonna get eaten alive. I'm not worried about like 50, 70-yard bombs being all over the place. But I was like, I don't run game or not, like just Stafford darting. So my question for you later on is gonna be like from that game, right? And you have to talk to me as if we're watching like Stranger Things, and then all of a sudden I've missed like 6 episodes. Bring me up to speed to the current thing.
Oh, we can do that. Let's do that right now. Let's do that right now.
Okay.
So that was a really amazing. This is what, besides you being a great guy and all that stuff, you have really good insight. So what you were seeing was what Stafford talked about too. Remember how he got hurt last year and he went out, and we ended up getting Baker Mayfield.
Yes.
Right? And,
I was actually asking for the 49ers to do that same thing.
Yeah.
Because at that time, when Baker Mayfield was available, we had Jimmy Garoppolo. So we had Trey Lance as our starter. He went down. Jimmy Garoppolo. And then we had a young Brock Purdy. But it's so hard to you don't know if it's just beginner's luck, right? Like things can happen. I've seen players win, like an MVP in the Super Bowl. They got a huge contract, and then they did like nothing afterwards, but they just happened to be kind of just in that mix. But I was actually telling like 49ers fans, I was like, we need to get Baker Mayfield. And everyone was like, well, that's gonna, send this message, and it's gonna make Brock Purdy feel like he's not enough, and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, well, don't you think being the last pick in the draft made him feel like he wasn't enough?
I don't understand that thinking. Yeah. I don't understand. This is professional sports.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Like you're all, when you're at that point, you're just asking for a chance. And then you're playing with house money. But my thing to them was I was going like, we're burning through these quarterbacks. Like, we obviously need depth. And I think that was something, one of the last times that I came on here and I was talking about before the season started. And I looked at this and I was like, hey, looking at these offensive lines, we're rivals. We were 1-2, 2-1. I don't really care how you want to look at it. But did any of our teams, like management, really, what did they learn from this past season? And did either of them, right? Like now you're going from Stafford to Mayfield. We ran out of quarterbacks. Actually, we went through 4 quarterbacks to where the point of Christian McCaffrey he had to take like a couple snaps behind center. So it was like, at any point, did you feel like your front office was like, hey, you know what? Probably should kind of go a little deep into the offensive line. My team decided it was better to get a kicker in the third round, however be it. But yeah, so you're bringing back full circle. So you guys got Baker Mayfield, which I was trying to convince 49er fans probably wasn't a bad idea. Not saying we would have beat the Eagles with Baker Mayfield, but it would have been a lot better than Josh Johnson. But go ahead to your point.
Okay. Yeah. So Baker Mayfield, I'm just gonna tell it to you this way. We won the Super Bowl, but it sucks that we never got to run it back. And I mean it this way. We won the Super Bowl, but we never got the team to come back. We didn't have Von Miller back the next year. We didn't have OBJ back with Cooper Kupp for a whole season. Andrew Whitworth ended up retiring. So we never were able to have the same team again. So when the Niners swept us again the following year, we were beat up though too, but it wasn't the same team from the championship game. We didn't have Von Miller, and we didn't have OBJ. We never were able to run it back. And then when the next following year, we brought in Allen Robinson, and he was sleepwalking, and we let Woods go, and so we never had. Stafford has never had a top of the line running game as a Ram because Cam Akers got hurt his first year, so he had to throw a lot, and he got banged up in there, but he would never tell you. So beginning of this year, being out all that time last year, he even said it. I'm not 25 years old no more, but I feel healthier than I have in a long time. You got to see what Stafford looked like when he's healthy. So now what you were saying is he looked like money. Boom. Those that's what they were seeing in training camp. Stafford looks amazing. He looks better than when we first got him. Unfortunately, our line, we had to go get Dotson from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that's another great move for our right guard, right tackle, right guard, and to go along with No Boom, who's always hurt, and we had to move No Boom from left tackle. Larry Jackson's there, but line's better, but still not really good, and he ended up having a hip pointer. So now that he's banged up, he's not as on the money as he was in the beginning because he's an older quarterback and we don't have the greatest of line. But you hit it right on the head. Earlier in the year when we played you guys, he was right there. I mean, he looked amazing, and that's what. And so we've only got a few this year, only a few games with him looking like that. But then
he looked like a top 3 quarterback. Yeah. I was like, holy shit! I not to Kurt, but I was.
No, you're good.
I left when I turned off that game. Right, I got back in the comment section and I was talking tough, right? Because that's what you do. It's easy to do that behind a keyboard. And I was talking tough.
Yeah.
But honestly, in my mind, like I was wiping sweat off my forehead, going like, and they didn't even have Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, we're in. I don't know what there's like possibly like not much of an answer for this. And I was going like if they figure something out with their running back like that, anything. I was like, I don't know if this offense is stoppable because what I saw from your guys' offensive line, I was like, damn. I guess they did kind of answer the big question, but it sounds like to you, like, was there a major injury that I didn't know about, or was it like, hey, they really kind of played, they were punching above their weight, and then the soil is kind of sifting back down to earth?
Well, we came out of the gate really good, beating the Seahawks, and then we played you guys, and I was saying that I thought that we had that was our best chance to beat the Niners early, because you guys normally start out slow, but you guys ended up starting out fast this year with CMC there. That makes a difference. But the offensive line is thin. We have a better line than last year. So when you guys faced us, the Niners had to rush 5 guys, and they ended up only getting 1 sack. And that was when they blitzed Warner because our guys were fresh. But as the season wore on, because we don't have a lot of depth, now guys are banged up now, and Stafford's starting to get hit, so we got a glimpse into what we can do with a good line. So next year, we're going to go offensive line, edge rusher. Now we have money to spend again. So Les Snead has said that he's going to be back to his aggressive ways because we are going to have $75 million of dead cap money off of the books. That's what people aren't talking about. Next year, the Rams, these young kids are learning, the Kobe Turners, the Byron Youngs, the Steve Avilas, Puka Nakua, all these young guys will have a year under their belt. And then we're going to bring in some top line front. We're going to be back to all in again for the next few years. We're trying to get Stafford and Donald another Super Bowl in the next couple of years. A lot of people say 2025, the Rams will be all the way back to Super Bowl contention. We will see. A lot can happen, but you're right that in that game against the Niners, it killed me because Darian Kendrick made a stupid pass interference call right before halftime. You guys went all the way down, scored a touchdown. The stupid clock keeper at SoFi Stadium, you're supposed to be on the road, but there's a lot of Niner fans in Southern California. You don't let the Niners have 1 second on the clock. You let it run out. Well, I'm going to get a soda. It should have went 0. That takes away a touchdown because remember, Brock Purdy threw the ball in the air, and that was a mistake. He should have threw it in the ground, so that way the time won't run out. The timekeeper for the Rams left 1 second on the clock, and you guys got a touchdown. And then we're driving to get the ball, and then the ball goes off Kyrie Williams' hands, and you guys intercepted it. We lost the momentum, and then the young team couldn't do anything after that. So, but yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Early on, we looked really good because the line was stout. It was fresh. And then as we got beat up and we played more games, we don't have a lot of depth. And that's when Stafford started getting hit. And but yeah, man.
So that's my next thing is. So I was looking at it, when it came down to Baker Mayfield, right, and then you guys picked him up because one of the big things was like we knew that you guys were going to pick up Baker Mayfield, and one of the big things that the 49ers were saying was like, well, if we throw our hat in that conversation trying to get Baker Mayfield because it was on the I forget what you call it, but it wasn't like you were just talking to him, frankly, right? He was on kind of like the bidding kind of system, and so you guys were
we had the first right of refusal, yeah,
right, and so that was kind of the fear about it. But when it came to like Baker Mayfield, right, like I felt his problem was in the Army. We kind of say like sometimes you need your ears lowered, right?
Mm-hmm.
In other words, like sometimes that means like your ego needs to be kind of like humbled. You weren't actually born from Mount Olympus. You know what I mean? You're not like, who your mom is, but that doesn't mean your dad is Zeus, right? Like you're a human being at the end of the day. And so some of that humility need to kind of happen. And I think he kind of got that transition. He got that message because McVay don't play. And you're really seeing that kind of those cultivated results over there in Tampa. Right.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at like Sam Darnold for the 49ers, it's not like a thing where it's like, hey, this guy's coming in with all this bravado, this panache, right? And he's just persnickety. It's more so of like he has to be rebuilt back up. It's like, hey, I see a beautiful house, but you go in there and just like there's no cupboard drawers or anything like that. When I look at Wentz, and this is where I'm kind of worried about Wentz, is it's not a thing where you have to build this guy up. I think, where he's like, because Darnold sees ghosts, right? With Wentz, I think like this is like a humbling, this is where quarterbacks kind of come to be rewoken, right? That force kind of gets rewoken up. Mm-hmm. And I am kind of nervous about Wentz because he actually does. He plays well against the 49ers. I don't know why, even on the bad teams that he's played on. The guy shows.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that he did.
Not a lot of 49er fans, I think, are thinking about it. And it's not like we've played him a ton, right? There's not a lot of data.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's lost to the 49ers since he's played.
Wow.
My thing is this. Double fact check that before you start running to social media or anything like that. But my thing is this, right? Is could there do you foresee, because I don't know that Wentz is gonna go anywhere else, because I don't think he's not gonna be able to run the locker room here like he did everywhere else. This is McVay's locker room, right? Shanahan runs his locker room like it's the players got it, but it's what I mean, like McVay is in that locker room. But could you see if it's a thing of like, damn, like maybe there could be a possible changing of the guard? Because I think the biggest difference between Wentz and Darnold is that both players, everybody knows about both these players' potential, but one has actually been like, when we talk about Wentz, we go, fucker was actually, we set MVP to his name. Those three letters have never been tied close to Darnold at all.
He would have won the MVP if he stayed healthy, because he looked crazy. He was amazing.
Right. Like when we're talking like 49ers fans, and so you have those glasses on, those fan goggles on. So you're always dreaming of like what it could be. They're in this situation. They got these coaches. We got the position coach. We got this, offense. We got these players. Hey, he's throwing to Debo, CMC, Kittle, Ayuk, right? Like everybody he's throwing to, whoever touches the ball is a Pro Bowler, right? So you kind of start fantasizing that this guy with this Bazooka Joe kind of arm can kind of lead it. But the big thing is, I mean, he's that young kind of guy, but also too, big difference is that he's actually shown that potential. Wentz has skills. Yeah, Wentz does. That's the biggest thing. But I think the problem that has plagued both of these quarterbacks, when we're talking about Wentz and Darnold, for both respective teams, is the turnovers.
Yeah.
So, but that was also too a thing that kind of plagued Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield he falls in love with that deep ball kind of play. But Wentz is a different. That guy has an arm. It is like chef's kiss. Like
the one thing that I've said to getting Wentz, or before we got him, I was saying, well, why don't we just get Wentz? Why don't we have these two guys in there, Brett Rippon and I call him Fran Dresser Wynn. Dresser Wynn was his name.
Oh, wait 1 second. Can you bring that last comment that you brought back up? About Jay. So I didn't even know this. So about a couple days ago, I actually went on Jake's chat, and I kind of like fired off a message, and he actually had me as a mod on his channel. I was like,
oh, that's
holy
cool.
hell. Yeah. I was like,
yeah.
Everyone's like, what the hell is going on? I was like the first like Niners fan that was on there, but I was like, that made my day. I kind of took that as a badge of honor. Like I was like,
yeah,
dang, that's awesome.
Well, you're respected in here, Gamma, because that's why I speak so highly of you, because you love your Niners, but you bring the whole thing to you see things like you're talking about Stafford. How you felt when you saw him, like wow, and your own team too. I can see why he did that. Because it's really great to have you come in. That's why I was really quick. Hey, you want to come in? Because you're like I hope you're always welcome on my channel, man. I appreciate you. But yeah, that's awesome that he did that.
Well, and I wasn't joking when we talked. I don't know how many months ago, but I did say next season though, definitely. You and I we're gonna go. I'll fly into SoFi, with the rest of the Niners fans. And then, but you and I will sit seat next to seat with each other.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
Nosebleeds, wherever it is. I don't care. I'll get
love
past
it.
security and get down to the lower bowl, but we'll have a damn day of it. And I'm sure we're gonna weird out a whole bunch of people. You know,
I love it, man. I love when it comes to McVay. I don't. I think we talked about this before. I don't remember, but I'm trying to get a credential, a press credential. You know how Grant Cohn can go on down the field and Larry Krueger. I'm trying to get one. We'll see what happens. I was hoping to get. It's a lot harder than I thought. I would love to corner McVay and ask him, why was Brett Rippon here between me and you? why did we have him in here? I know that you want to win, and maybe some information I wouldn't be able to divulge, but they're so smart. I don't understand why we had Brett Rippon in here, because coming off of an injury with Matthew Stafford from last year, we're retooling our offensive line. We should have made this move for Wentz a long time ago, or even look at Dobbs from the Arizona Cardinals. I don't know if you could do like baseball where they don't know that you're the third team in the trade. I'll tell you what, man. I'll give you our second round pick. We need to get Dobbs, and we make a deal with the Steelers, and they get Dobbs, and then boom, the Rams take Dobbs from the Steelers.
Right.
A 3-team trade to get a backup. But I don't understand that, but we'll see what happens with that, man. Maybe one day I'll be able to get a credential.
That is so the credentialing point. I think so. One of the easiest place to get credentials actually during the NFL draft. They like a smorgasbord. They just hand it out, which is interesting because that's the NFL. You know what I mean? It's not like us. We're down ranking down to a sport, but like anybody who really wants to like do that NFL draft. But I will say this, that is something that I really did kind of find interesting. So I was upset that the 49ers didn't really address their offensive line, but at least they didn't wait till week 7, 8, 9, whatever it is, right, to go get their Carson Wentz, to go get their Sam Darnold. At least they did that on like the very first day of free agency. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, we didn't upgrade the off. Well, and I'd say this to the Rams. Okay, let's back up. The Rams offensive line, I thought, looked spectacular against us. Yeah, have they regressed? Like, where do you have them? Like that week when you guys played us, I thought you guys were like an 8 out of 10. Yeah. Where do you have them now?
Alaric Jackson is on our left tackle. Is average to a little better than average left tackle. He does have his moments where if you're fierce, if you're going against the Bosa, he definitely needs help.
Yeah.
Steve Avila, our left guard, has been a godsend, kind of like Puka Nacua on the wide receiver end.
Mm-hmm.
He's been the Puka Nacua of offensive guards. I did a video and showed clips from Brian Baldwinger. Is that his name?
Baldinger.
Baldinger. Yeah.
Baldinger. Yeah.
So Baldinger. Yeah. So he was showing how, you remember that game, against the Niners, how you said we look really good. This rookie left guard is helping Alaric Jackson against Bosa. Smacks Bosa on one side to knock him off balance.
Yeah.
Then turns around and cleans up another block over here on the right side. And then when Kyren Williams got one of his touchdowns, they hiked the ball. They I think it was a screen pass to or inside screen to Kyren Williams, and he's looking for blood. He likes to hit people, and he actually knocked Greenlaw off balance, and Kyren Williams walked into the end zone. This one kid gave us a toughness on our offensive line, and he's all smiles, but when game time, he turns into Anthony Munoz Jr. And then we got a big pickup in Dotson on the left side, the left guard from the Steelers, and he's playing better than the two guys that replaced him. So we've been very fortunate, except we're banged up. Noteboom was always hurt, our other guy, but as the season went on, we've gotten banged up, and we don't have a lot of backups, and that's what's hurt us. And then Stafford started getting hurt. They started getting hit, and more hits, and they got a hit pointer. Right now, he was limping to the bye with a smashed thumb into the Cowboys helmet and a hit pointer. But yeah, our offensive line has shown that we have improved, but we need more depth to keep it going for a whole season. But yeah, thank you for noticing that, because they really amazed us. Thank you, Adjafella, for coming in, brother. Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely. What so this is kind of like a tough question to ask. So it sounds like Stafford's kind of dealing with kind of a similar hand injury that at one point in time Jimmy Garoppolo was dealing with, but it was like it's a sprain, but for Jimmy Garoppolo it was like a tear. But you have your level 1, 2, 3, mild, medium, kind of like high kind of level sprain. So is there a tear or what?
No,
what happened?
He smacked it on the outside of a Cowboys helmet, and it's funny because I was talking to one of my guys we were texting back, and we were, God, what the hell are we doing? It was that one-off game against the Cowboys where they whipped our ass, and for somehow that we woke up their offense. They play. You see what they did against the Eagles. Like, is this the same Cowboys?
Yeah.
They couldn't do nothing against the Niners, right? But what happened is we're beat up. No excuses. All teams go this, but we're beat up. They were so much faster and zoom, and Dak Prescott was rested and agile again. He was actually running. He was able to step into his throws and be accurate. They came off the bye. And we ran into a buzzsaw, but it was 33-3. And I'm like, why don't we pull Stafford? Just get him out. It's one of those games, right?
Yeah.
Not knowing that Brett Rippon was horrible, but that's okay. Pull him because he's important.
They knew.
Yeah. Well, they knew, yeah. But pull him because this game don't mean nothing. We need Stafford for the rest. And then sure enough, he drove us to get a touchdown. We're now within 2 scores, but he banged his thumb on somebody's helmet. And then to add insult to injury, they did a flea flicking type play where we did a 2-point conversion, and Tutu Atwell, I think it was, threw a low ball, and Stafford had to dive for it, and he got the 2-point conversion, and that kind of messed it up too. But that's just the way it goes. But he actually got hurt in the game. He didn't need to. We could have just pulled him. We could have pulled Aaron Donald too. Why is Aaron Donald still in there? Get him out.
Right.
They're too important, even if they bitch and moan. But yeah, so now we got Carson Wentz. If Carson Wentz was there, I'm pretty sure we would have pulled Stafford, give Carson some reps, stuff like that, but maybe it's too little too late, because I figured that we can go 9-8, possibly 8-9 if the NFC keeps losing games and get a wild card, because the NFC is really weak this year. But we gave away a game in Cincinnati. We lost 19-16. We gave away the Steeler game. Our kicker missed 2 kicks and an extra point. Then the refs didn't give us a good spot. It was all over the NFL. That was our fault, though. We shouldn't have been that way. And then this last game against the Packers, we basically put a guy who has no business on an NFL roster as our starting quarterback. And it was still close all the way until the defense got tired of 1, 2, 3 outs. And yeah, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think we have a chance if Stafford's healthy. But now with Carson Wentz, I can breathe a little easier. Mm-hmm. And we just got to tell him, look, man, stay in yourself. Don't put the ball in harm's way. Use your legs. You should be fresh. Move the chains. And now we can get the ball to Puka, and we can get the ball to Kupp now, because we have a guy with a similar arm talent as far as strength. Rippon didn't have the arm to get that balls out to Puka on the side. And, so we'll see what happens. I think that we have an outside chance to make the playoffs still, because the NFC is so weak. We have 2 losses to work with. We play you guys again, but you guys might be, if you guys have the division sold up, you guys might be resting guys. We have the Ravens. We lose that game too. If we lose a third game, we can go 8-9 and possibly limp into the playoffs. And I say that only because it's nice to be in the playoffs instead of not.
Yeah.
But the NFC is really bad this year. Look at all of us. You guys have 3-game losing streak. the Seahawks are who we thought they were. Geno's Geno. They look one good game this year, and then they look the 1 week and they look bad the next week. Unfortunately, we just don't have enough horses in the stable to do anything this year. But yeah, man. But tell me what you're looking forward to in the second half of the season for you guys.
But before I do that, I wanted to highlight SM's comment. Cowboys Super Bowl was beating the Rams. But I have to ask SM, when you made your name, did you forget the ampersand, the and between S and M? I'm just curious with that. But yeah, that is like, man, I gotta tell you, there may be Hollywood in Los Angeles, but the Cowboys just are the most Hollywood team if they win or if they lose. But if they win, you just do not want to be like whenever we play against the Cowboys, it's not so much like when I'm playing against like a division opponent, like I want to beat them because we got to win the division. You know what I mean? Like remember when Seattle was 7-9 losing record, and then they had home field advantage and they played against the Saints. Then Marshawn Lynch had that thunderous, earthquake kind of like run against the Saints. That's the reason why you want to win division, even if you're like terrible. You get at least that first game. But I like being the Cowboys is just about like, I just don't want to hear it. Whatever ESPN radio channel that I'm on, it's just, oh my Lord, it's just way too much. But yeah, it is a Super Bowl defining victory every preseason, regular season game. It is just, it's a parade field. It's absolutely awful. But anyways, yeah.
Well, it's when it comes to the Cowboys, before this last game, and we actually lost to them 2 in a row. When Stafford was hurt last year, we they had Cooper Rush. Is that their backup quarterback?
Yes.
They beat us with Cooper Rush, and we had, I forget, John Wolford. Was it John Wolford? I can't remember. So they beat us with the backup. Like, oh, we have Stafford this year, and then they beat us again. But before that, McVay was 3-1, including knocking them out of the playoffs against Dak Prescott in 2018. And so they're like on a 2-game winning streak. So we would normally beat them. But it sucks that they took the game against us to wake up, and they actually played good. And it's amazing that they don't match up good with you guys. So you guys are just, Dak Prescott craps the bed against you guys. There's throws that he can make that he was making against us. But against you guys, he's just a totally different quarterback. And if you guys were to play him, I don't see no changes. You guys were going to run roughshod over him. And I
definitely think we would just. I think the biggest difference is that we have what the Cowboys do. Everything that they want to do, we do better. It really reminds me of the 49ers back when we had Jim Harbaugh back in like 2010, 2011.
I love Jim Harbaugh.
And then we were going up against the Legion of Boom. And I just remember like everything that we were about, what we did. I love Frank Gore, but Marshawn Lynch was just that much better than Frank Gore. Like everything that we were trying to do, that Seahawks team was younger and just that much better at exactly to a T what we were trying to do. And it was frustrating as hell. And it came to a point of like, damn, like we have to blow up the entire team because we have this team in our division. Now the Cowboys aren't in our division, but everything the Cowboys are trying to do, like we're just somehow better than them.
I loved Harbaugh, the faces and grimaces that he would do on the sideline. They were classic, man. I mean, those Niner teams, I remember we had with Sam Bradford, we had the tie. We had the tie, and Sam Bradford reared back and threw a deep bomb to, I think, Amendola, and we got the touchdown. And the damn referee
that guy was a pain in the ass. Amendola was a pain in the ass. Oh my God.
Unfortunately, we had him when he was younger. He wasn't the Amendola he became. But I remember we got a deep pass. Oh, we finally beat the Niners. The 7-9 Rams, 6-10 Rams with Fisher. But one of our guys lined up off of the line, and the referees called it. God damn it. So we ended up tying that game, but we had thrown a bomb to win that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved Harbaugh on the sidelines and those great battles with Pete Carroll's Seahawks. And let me ask you a question, Cameron. I don't know if you've noticed, but Richard Sherman was with the Niners for what, 3 years?
Yeah, I'm about that.
And he was Mr. Seahawk. He would fight with Crabtree and they would talk smack. I remember that game where they were on the logo. Him and Russell Wilson were eating turkey leg on the Niners logo, right? All that stuff, beast mode, all that stuff. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, I remember.
Let me ask you, in your opinion, why is he such a Niners ass kisser now? The guy goes on his podcast with the Niner hat. Yeah. I mean, Isaac Bruce played for you guys maybe 1 year, 2 years. I don't remember. You're not going to see Isaac Bruce with the San Francisco hat on. Is it because he wants more viewers? I even called him out. Why are you such a Niners ass kisser, dude? Why?
I honestly, and this is how I feel. Pete Carroll had insane buy-in from all of his Seahawks players. They were making all the plays that shorten your career. Nobody there was making business decisions. Not Marshawn Lynch, not Richard Sherman, not Cam Chancellor, right? Not Earl Thomas. But you're as tight as the men and women that you're going into war with, right? Like your war daddies and your war sisters, like to your left and to your right. Pete Carroll really showed, I think, the character or flavor of the man that he. All that we ask as adults, right, is talk to me straight. Don't bring me in a room and then talk to me for an hour and then let me know that you're going to let me go. Just bring me in there. Hank, you're done. Here's my write-up. Like, let me go. They sold everything out. And I really, what I think it is that McVay and Shanahan kind of come from this thing of like, look, we're going to burn and turn you. We are going to squeeze every drop out of this sponge of your body that we possibly can of production into this cup, right? And then that's what and that's that. And when you can't do that anymore, we're moving on. You know what I mean? Like I don't care if we spent 3 draft picks on you. I don't care if we gave you this amount of money and people think that your contract is a move. Like we're moving in a different direction as quickly as possible. And this is what we're doing. I don't think Pete Carroll was that upfront as like, as much as like 49ers fans and Rams fans don't like each other. Both these guys are of the same ilk, kind of learned under the same tree, the same pedigree, right? Like Kyle or McVay didn't learn from Kyle Shanahan. He learned from Mike Shanahan, right? And those kinds of things. So yeah, just Billy Bean style, right? Billy Bean style when he told that guy like, hey, just tell him that he's got traded and he's moving on. It's better to have like one in the head instead of like 6 to the chest. Like just go. So I really think that's what I think it's the game within the game. I think it has nothing to do with him being an ass kisser. I think it's more of like, hey, I'm always known for Legion of Boom. Your greatest coaching success isn't USC. It's here in Seattle. And even though I was only here for 24 months, 30 months, I would rather wear this cap with my brothers than to sport like in other words, like, because you remember that, right? When Earl Thomas, he was asking for that contract, and then his knee got blown up, and then he's getting carted off, and then he's just like, that was it. Cam Chancellor was looking for that money, was like, I gave you. Everything. I have no more career left. I will be on pain medication and physical therapy for the rest of my life. And I'm 27 years old. And like they were just like moved on. And so that was, I think that was the thing. Yeah,
Well,
that's what I think. That's my view.
well, I mean, I didn't think of it like that, but one of the things that frustrates me, well, I mean, I shouldn't face, I mean, it doesn't matter to me what he says, but the Rams won the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford proved the naysayers. Is it Detroit or is it Matthew Stafford, right? Because he was in Detroit all those years. His best years were wasted in Detroit. Even Barry Sanders had to retire early. Even Calvin Johnson had to retire early. And so he won the Super Bowl. But the reason why I say the ass kissing with the Niners, and he was a Seahawks Hall of Famer, is he always gets on the Rams, though. He's always on Stafford. He's always on with the Rams. He's even and rightly so the last 2 years. Don't get me wrong. I'm not expecting him to, but he's always, even with Brock Purdy, he doesn't say nothing ill about Brock Purdy. Well, the kid, he's not there yet, or that's what I say about ass kissing. He's always on the Rams and McVay. Doesn't think much of them. But then he's got the Niner cap on, and he's, like if he played his whole career with the Niners,
Right, yeah.
I don't understand that. It doesn't bother me, but it's really irritating that a guy that played his whole year with the Seahawks, played for 3 years with the Niners, and honestly, a lot of the Niner fans blamed him for losing that Super Bowl because he kept getting toasted.
I think it's this too, and because we're getting off the trail a little bit here, but I would say that at the end of the day, the people, the last people who he really went to war with, right? The last people he went to the Super Bowl with are still on the 49ers.
Oh,
and,
okay. I got you.
And even when he was on the Seahawks, he still had the same division opponents. When he went to the 49ers, he still had the division opponents. Like everyone here can act like they're not biased. Everyone can act like they're not biased. And you're right. That man's ass kissing bias is definitely showing. All I can do, and it's dangerous to get into the psychology of another person.
Yeah.
But that would be my guess, is that the reason why he's doing that is because he knows those people intimately. Like he has a connection with those people there.
The same coach and GM too,
right?
probably.
Yeah, like I guarantee you this. If the Rams would have made that call and then brought Sherman with the Rams, I bet he'd be singing high praises of McVay. Like, I mean, that's just the way I see it. And again, I mean, these players we think we as fans are emotional people. Like, these players are just absolutely emotional animals when it comes down to it. Like they're definitely creatures when it comes through that.
Oh, for sure.
So I think that's kind of the way that went.
Yeah. Okay. Well, great takes, man. Like I said, thank you for always coming in. And so before we get out of here, tell me, like for me, I hope Stafford's going to play the rest of the year. I hope we finally get on a couple of wins in a row, 2-3 games. This is what I'm hoping for. We win a couple of games in a row. Maybe we lose one. Win another couple of games in a row. Maybe we lose one, and then we finish off the season strong. And now the game with the Niners might be very important to us because we might need that game. You guys might be resting everybody. We'll see what happens. I would love to see a second rematch with everybody healthy. And now Cooper, because they don't know how to use Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua at the same time. Also, this rest will help Kupp because he wasn't in game shape yet because he couldn't really run with his injury. And then he got off to that start when he came back the first game. So they'll be reworking the playbook to get them both off. We haven't had a game where they're both doing amazing. So it's either one or the other. And then Tutu Atwell, when he came back, it disappeared. He was starting to come against you guys. He made a couple of catches. He was starting to break out. So it's going to be very interesting. So as the season goes on. So tell me, where do you see the Niners at the end of the year? Do they finally get that Super Bowl ring? And tell me what you think for the second half is going to bring for the Niners, for your Niners.
I do think that this team, boy, this is crazy. So I'm a Sacramento Kings fan too. I don't see the Sacramento Kings winning the championship. But for the 49ers, I do see them winning the Super Bowl. I think what it really comes down to is that the defensive line. This is the craziest thing. I was like, could you imagine if the Rams would have just given up a third pick for Chase Young, and he had Aaron Donald, and then that's just got like the flavor in your mouth. Like if you're an opposing team like that, that's unstoppable. And I really just think about having. I just don't know how many teams in the league, because that was the thing that we'd have to do. We'd have to move Bosa. We're bouncing him on the left side or the right side, testing your left side tackle, your right side tackle. So, the study book work that he'd really have to do, he'd have to really know both tackles kind of inside and out. So that way then he could knife fight. I don't know how many teams have an elite left tackle that can just absolutely isolate, leave him like Darrelle Revis on an island, shut down Bosa, and then look on your right side, isolate, shut down, leave him on an island with your right tackle on Chase Young. Or our inside defensive tackles can stunt, and those guys then can just swap in. So I the only problem where they've really had it, I think everything will be fixed, is that I just think they have to be better up front and more disciplined on the defensive line. The talent's there. They're going to figure it out. It may take a game or two, but you're never out of it until ESPN's odds say like, oh no, that you've been like your odds have been disqualified. And again, I look at McVay and I look at Shanahan, whatever's going on offense. The rest of the NFL can doubt whatever they want to. Those guys are smart enough, like they're going to figure it out. They have the same green book that guy from Waterboy had, that coach, they have that same thing where I'm like really interested and fascinated about both these teams is for the Rams next year. The thing I'm going to be looking at is like, hey, first round, second round, do they go offensive line, and then they go first round offensive line, second round they find their running back. For the love of Jesus, tap dancing Christ, that's the last thing.
Well, we got a guy named Zach Evans who's a speed burner, and we haven't used him. And so I was hoping that we would get I'm not going to say he's Todd Gurley because he's not, but he's a guy like I like Kyren Williams.
Yeah,
he'll break out and get 20 yards, 30 yards, but they'll catch him from behind. Zach Evans has Todd Gurley in him where he can get to the outside and be gone. But in college, he did have some kind of fumble issues, from what I understand. But we haven't took the bubble wrap off of him. So I don't know if it could be that he can't block very good, for Stafford, he's a liability. I don't know, but I would love to see him, even in the Cowboys game, he at that time we couldn't do anything anyway, but we do have one running back in Zach Evans who is very fast. And I don't know if he's the answer, but McVay, since Todd Gurley, remember we used to run all the time. It was a well-balanced machine. We haven't had a top of the line running back, like you said. And that's the key. And you guys have CMC. We were trying to get CMC, but we couldn't because we used that 4th round pick on Sony Michel on the 2001 because Cam Akers got hurt, or else we might have been able to get him before the Niners got him, because he's an amazing player, but the health issues have been a concern, but he's held up so far.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the health issues were concerned with Stafford, but I firmly believe this is the difference between, because the 49ers were trying to get Stafford. The reason why the Rams have a Super Bowl and the 49ers don't is solely because of Stafford. Like they ponied up and they got that. That's it. That's it. I honestly, I sit here and I go like, what if the Rams, you give McVay, a mad scientist of the league, right? I kind of put him up there with like Mike McDaniels of the Dolphins. But if McVay had CMC, if Stafford had CMC to like, would he be injured, or would he have been like, hey, F it, I don't have a good hot read, nothing's happening, like hot potato, I don't want to take this hit. CMC, just like do your damn thing. He's been leading the NFL in rushing yards. So I'm like, oh my God, that would have been awful. So imagine if you guys would have had CMC, and imagine if you guys would have had Chase Young. Would you guys be 3-6, or would you guys be 6-3? And so that's kind of my to kind of answer your question. I'm going like, we're on this 3-game skid, but there's far too much talent. The coaching is just way too good. I don't think that we signed Brandon Ayuk. So a lot of the 49ers content creators, they're going to say Chase Young is just a rental, and the media, just rental. I'm going to say, I think the real rental is Brandon Ayuk, because I'm thinking about it. What I don't want the Rams to do is to really stock up and beef up their offensive line, find their running back of the future, and then find just some neat pieces on special teams and defense like that. That makes me take a shit the bed. What I think the 49ers should do is beef up their offensive line and then find that corner. Like for us, it's the neat, sexy thing is the corner. For you guys, it's that do it all Marshall Faulk kind of like running back. But I really think that if you have this defensive front, like we're gonna smash Seattle. Seattle's gonna come in, they're gonna be talking tough, and I'm gonna be like, your quarterback isn't Matthew Stafford, nothing amazing, can't run, and then how are you gonna stop like 4 all-pro guys on the defensive line?
Yeah. And what's weird is how great McVay and Shanahan are. Shanahan hasn't had a great quarterback, let's just be honest. So it's amazing that he has won so many games without having a real quarterback. But some of that's his fault, because he didn't go out and get like didn't go out and get Tom Brady was begging to come to San Francisco. Let's just forget that for a second. You could have still got who you wanted behind Brady. But
we could have had Ripien behind Brady. It wouldn't matter.
Is look at DeMeco Ryans and CJ Stroud. Is he showing his the guy that came out of his coaching tree? His underling, Kyle's underling, how to do it? He started with the quarterback.
I think
he has a real quarterback.
I think it's just that's kind of thing like when the 49ers got Bosa, who ended up being defensive player of the year. Not as good as Darnold, but still when you have a guy who's defensive player of the year and that's on the line, you expect it to be like a safety or a corner or like a linebacker, right? Like somebody who's allowed to just traverse the field, right? Like they get to pick the world's their oyster. They get to basically landscape and kind of roam, right? A guy like Darnold or Bosa, you get the quarterback like and stop the run. If you don't do that, you have to be like amazing. Otherwise, if they like one game worse, we would be stuck with Kyler Murray. So I would say this with the Rams, and this is kind of the interesting thing that I'm kind of like thinking about is that there's a lot of good quarterbacks that are coming out in this thing. So let's say Stafford kind of gets beat up a little bit. Let's say Wentz goes in, but Wentz has an injury history too. Let's say he takes kind of a little bit of a licking. You guys end up with like the 8th, 10th, let's say like 12th pick. Because I was looking at your schedule and I kind of agree with you. I think 10 wins. Like if I'm McVay, I'm going like 10 wins is the damn goal. we're gonna squeeze fucking 7 wins out of the rest of this schedule. But you don't want to go less than, you're getting at least 4 wins. Like, we're not doing any worse than 4, but let's see if we can go get 7. Because success builds momentum on top of itself. But if that doesn't happen, you guys only get 7 wins. Does a guy like Bo Nix start becoming that new sexy answer, right? Does Wentz go like, hey, no other team still wants me. I'm more familiar with this system. Give me a shot to compete to be the starting QB number 1. Do you flip a guy like so that's the thing, like, would become like really, really, really fast. And then also too, then maybe, hey, that pick that has Bo Nix or some of these other quarterbacks that are coming out, and you guys were like, hey, we've got Wentz is coming back on the books. We've got Stafford. We're gonna band-aid between the two of them and their cycles of being healthy or not. We're gonna have competent quarterback play like we've never had in the city of LA. But other teams need a quarterback. Do we flip this first round pick and coop up? So I'm really, really interested. I think that the Rams are in a good spot. Even if this doesn't end up being the Rams' year, I could see this front office really doing something to make a power move that the rest of us just aren't able to think about them doing. And
because we have McVay's first number 1 in his tenure. Believe it or not, he's never had a number 1 pick as head coach of the Rams. He has his first number 1 pick wherever it's going to land, and then he has 10 other draft picks, and then a clear cap to work with, Les Snead. And so,
how's your secondary been looking?
The secondary has been better. You guys had Witherspoon, and he wasn't very good, and then he went to the Pittsburgh. And we got him from Pittsburgh along with Dotson, and he's been a godsend for us. He's been a not that he's an all-pro, but with his wingspan and his experience, he's just been a very good pro, good NFL player that we can start. That's what he is, and he's gotten a couple of big picks for us. And unfortunately, there's been a couple of games. I said in the beginning of the year, we need to win a couple of games here and there that we shouldn't have won. We got Burrow limping around at Cincinnati, and then they took away a Tutu Atwell touchdown that there was no. They said he stepped in the line, but there was no conclusive evidence on the replay, and so the ruling on the field was touchdown, and they took it away from us. And then in the end zone,
how much are you guys missing Ramsey? Honestly,
well, considering that he was hurt all year, not at all, because he barely came back.
His top level.
Well, honestly, teams are going away from him, so it would be a lot of money to spend when one side they're not throwing to him as much, and so not really. We haven't really missed him a lot because of the young guys have actually. Honestly, our defense has been what's keeping us in. We did really good against the Seahawks, but against you guys, we couldn't do nothing in the second half. Against the Eagles, we couldn't do nothing in the second half. We started out good. We haven't really been scoring a lot. I thought it was going to be opposite. The defense was going to take time to get acclimated, and our pass rushing hasn't been great. Our pass rush, and the offense was going to carry us, but the offense hasn't really done a whole lot except for certain games, and the defense has been pretty steady with these young guys, so we really haven't missed them too much. Even Kobe Durant from last year didn't take the next step. He hasn't become a star. He's just been another guy. So, that's really surprising. Travarius Thomason hasn't got a chance to play, the rookie. But we've been okay in the secondary. We have pretty good speed. We have some guys that are just running to the ball. No big stars have been. We thought Kobe Durant was going to be the guy out there, but just a good NFL secondary. That's about it.
Is his name Colby or Kobe?
Kobe Turner. I got gum in my mouth. Sorry, Kobe. Okay. Like Kobe, but spell with a C.
Because that's incredible. I'm sure you guys have already...
Kobe Durant.
Because that sounds like some of the greatest scores in NBA history. Like if they had they merged
Kobe and Durant.
We
Kobe Turner on the defense, on the line, and Kobe Durant on the secondary.
Yeah. I really like what this oh gosh, I really like what this person said. NFC
Oh, I didn't see
isn't
that.
hard this year. NFC isn't hard this year. Rams can still get in, which is true. I'm telling you what, every single year, it feels like for the last like 3 years, the 49ers started off with like a losing record.
That's what we were hoping for.
Last year we were 3-5.
Yeah.
This year, like 49ers fans are trying to jump ship, and we're 5-3. Last year we were 3-5. So it's to me, it's like comical. It's like we're 2 wins better than we were last season.
And you know what? You know what too is what that comment that he's saying. When we first started the season, I was doing my lives. This is a perfect time for us to, we call it retooling, bringing in all these rookies. The offense with Puka, first we didn't know who Puka. We knew Puka was there, but we didn't know what he's going to be. Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek. We have a pretty good offense according to the NFC standards. We can put some games together, and the defense will catch up later on because they're young guys. You still have Donald. You still have some guys left over from the Super Bowl years. Ernest Jones, guys like that. But it's opposite. The offense, except for the first game, hasn't been really great. It's been okay. Stafford's been great with Puka Nacua, but the points wise, it hasn't been. The defense has been steady, and that's what we were saying, that we can win in the NFC because it's really weak this year. But we've given away a few games. We could have a better record. I was like, that Bengals game, we lost 16-19. They took away a touchdown from us, and they didn't call a tugging Tutu Atwell's jersey in the end zone. We would have had first and goal, and we lost by 3, 19-16. And then we gave away the Steelers game. Our kicker missed 2 kicks, and we missed an extra point. We gave away that game. And then the Packer game, we had this guy Brett Rippon starting for us. Those are games that we can't afford to lose. We could have a close record to the Niners if everything went perfect. And that's what I was hoping for, that we're going to be within striking distance of just to win outright the wild card. But we've blown a few chances, and some of them. And that, are you worried about the referees this year in a close game? Because they've been horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta say this, like your kicking needs to be on point.
Mm-hmm.
Your defense is gonna have to travel and play and not worry about like holding calls. And then your offense. If your offense, you don't need to strike quickly, but if you can do like time of possession, like eventually the defense is gonna have to. This is an offensive centric like league. Like to answer your question, yes. Like so I started off my background basketball. Like really, like if you want to do X's and O's, break stuff down, right? If I were to be starting off my own YouTube channel, it'd probably be best served as an NBA channel. But there's nothing better to talk than football, to be honest with you. But why I don't go so heavy into the NBA is because OMG, the referees in the NBA, I mean, that's a different can of worms. Mm-hmm. But I'm starting to see the NFL refereeing kind of like the thing that the reason why I can't get into like European soccer is because of like, you know what I mean? And it's just, I was like, football is football. Like that's what it is. And man, some of these tick-tacky calls, like I've just like.
And Tom Brady's not in the league anymore, so you can't blame it on him.
Right.
They would, when the Greatest Show on Turf was around, they would blast Kurt Warner. And you would hardly ever get a call.
Oh, he got drilled.
You couldn't touch Tom Brady. Matter of fact, Mike Martz, who cost us a couple of rings, by the way, being our head coach. I wish that Dick Vermeil would have stayed a couple more years. he left Kurt Warner in there in a game that against the Eagles, I think it was, where the game was over. Yeah. Oh, I actually forgot that he was still in there. I was working on some play, kind of like Kyle Shanahan works on some plays.
Yeah.
And they blasted Kurt Warner's ribs. So he played that 2001 Super Bowl against the Patriots with a flak jacket with padding. If you look at the Super Bowl, he looks kind of chubby. It's because he had padding because he was protecting his ribs because Mike Martz left him in there. Yeah. And so
yeah, I mean, I just remember, it just seemed like the way Troy Aikman would get drilled. I feel like the referee would just throw a flag at the defender. Like, really, you're not going to finish that tackle? Just like throw the flag. Like, come on now. What are we doing?
And I know you guys, and like I said, I give credit is due. I like George Kittle. That was a bullshit call they called against him in that push off. Michael Irvin made a living out of that against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
That was a bullshit call. And then the other thing too is when we played that same Patriots, what we would do is we would go vroom, right down the field. They couldn't stop us. But then when we got to the 25-yard line, close to the red zone, they started holding us. They would tackle Marshall Faulk. They would hold Isaac Bruce and Torrey Holt. In the Niners and the Cowboys' heyday, you couldn't hold Michael Irvin. They would call it. Or you couldn't hold Jerry Rice. They would call it. They would make those calls. In that Super Bowl, for some reason, we weren't getting the calls and we were kicking field goals. And so they ended up getting the lead. But if they would have gave us a couple of those calls early on, because they couldn't stop us, I remember Willie McGinnis said a comment like, yeah, they called us for that. What do you think about that call when you tackled Marshall Faulk and they called it? Yeah, I'm surprised they called it. We were doing that the whole game. And so they ended up beating us. And that's the one that sticks in my craw that we lost, that the Patriots shouldn't have been there. It should have been the Raiders. They might have saved a lot of lives in Southern California. Imagine Los Angeles sports bars with LA Rams and Raider fans watching the Super Bowl and the Rams, let's say the Rams blow out the Raiders. Can you imagine LA sports bars?
So
I mean, that would have been crazy.
Quick question, and this might be the last one here before I get off here. But, be growing up and spending all my youth and everything like that in NorCal. So over there in Los Angeles, you guys had the LA Rams, Eric Dickerson, all that kind of stuff, right? And then you guys then had the LA Raiders, and it seems like that's the thing that like Snoop, Cube, like all of them are like rocking. And then you guys got the Chargers, I think, as well. So like, where, if you were to go, like, let's take the pie of like Raiders fans, Chargers fans, Rams fans, where is, and I guess Niners fans too.
Oh, yeah.
That was the thing. I was going like, damn, we just travel well. And we're over there in LA. It's like, no, I guess we've already been here.
No, they live there. They live there already. Most of them.
So out of those four teams, like, give me a percentage of the pie, because I'm sure that there's still some old school guys there in LA that are like, they're like, no, man, like Raiders till like DIE.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's a great question. And so when the Rams moved, see, the Raiders and Niners never left California. They never left California. When the Rams left to St. Louis, it left, of course, any team that moves, it left just like our St. Louis brothers and sisters. When they left to St. Louis, it was always loyalty over location. The woman who shall be nameless, we call her, the former owner that took the Rams to St. Louis, they left the whole state, right? They're in St. Louis now. A lot of OG Ram fans that saw Roman Gabriel at the Coliseum, that saw the Fearsome Foursome, that saw all those great teams, passed on now. It was 20 plus years. The Rams were out of the Los Angeles market for 20 plus years. The Raiders never left California. So, you can drive up and down, or you take a plane, whatever, a train. The Cowboys, are in California still all this time too. The fan bases, stuck with those teams. The only team that didn't benefit from the Rams being gone was the Chargers, really. And they're mostly in San Diego. I don't really see a lot of Charger fans before they move to Los Angeles in LA area. So to answer your question, that's one of the reasons why, because when the Rams left to St. Louis, the woman who shall be nameless. A lot of the OG Ram fans died during that time, and when they won the Super Bowl, she kind of put the knife in the back of LA Ram fans because she said this comment when they won the Super Bowl, the whole in Lombardi. See, I knew it was the right move to St. Louis or something like that, and we're like, instead of saying Ram fans all around the world, this is for you, blah blah blah. So I'm answering like that because a lot of the OG Ram fans moved on. Their kids now were Niner fans or Bronco fans. LA's so weird. There's a big contingent of Bills fans, Bronco fans. There's actually, I think it's Santa Monica or somewhere. There's a big Denver Bronco sports bar there. The Bills fans too. There's a lot of them when they come. All of that's weird in Southern California. Now the Niners, a lot of them live in Southern California. You actually see a lot of them because the Rams were gone again with a Debo jersey, but an LA Dodger cap. Or yeah. So to answer the question, there's a lot. I don't know the percentage, but there's a lot of Niner and Raider fans in Southern California already. So they get the biggest piece of the pie. And then with the Rams returning to Los Angeles and trying to reacclimate themselves to the city of Los Angeles, when a lot of fans already have a team because they were gone, they have to win. And so it's getting better and better every year, but that's why it's like that. And then the Chargers we were kind of stuck with them. That was a rule when we came to Los Angeles that we had to allow the Chargers to rent our stadium and come back with us. So there's an AFC team. And so and they're the ones who were hit hardest the most because even though there's been a lot of Niner fans that come to our stadium and Raider fans that come to our stadium because they already live there. The Ram fans, as far as a game attendance, even when the Bears come, you don't see all Bears. When the Jaguars come, it's not all Jaguars. When the other teams come, there's a lot of Ram fans.
Right.
But you wouldn't know that because a lot of them sell their tickets.
Yeah.
A lot of them pay for the PSLs. I'm going to be honest. Until recently, I was finding out this, and I kind of knew it for a little bit, but a lot of Ram fans sell their tickets so they can pay for the PSLs because it's very expensive in Southern California. So a lot of them sell tickets because if you come to like a playoff game where they play the Falcons and it's all Ram fans, or you come to a regular season game and it's the Jaguars, it's all Ram fans and it's packed, so but yeah, so the bigger
permanent seat license, I had to look that up. Permanent seat.
Oh
license.
Yeah, you basically you sign a contract that's basically for 10 years or something. I can't remember when I had mine, and then you pay $800 some for my tickets for the 9 games, 9 games now with the preseason, and every year you have to come up with that. Plus, you got to pay for a parking voucher. Parking we would chip in for it. That's another $800. So let's say the Rams Niners game. You sell your ticket to whoever with the parking voucher. You can make $400 or $500. And then you go, boom, you put that to your season tickets for the upcoming season. I don't do that, but there's a lot that you're finding out that happens. So that's what's going on. But yeah, so the lady who shall be nameless moved the team. A lot of OG Ram fans that would have handed it down to their kids and grandkids, they were out of the market. And now, I like, when the Rams were gone, I like Terrell Owens on the 49ers. I like Frank Gore, or I like whoever on the Raiders. They were still in California. That's what happened. The only team that it seems like didn't benefit from the Rams being gone was the Chargers. They do have a good amount of fans, but not like the Raiders and 49ers in Southern California because they never left California either. So, but yeah, so I would say the biggest piece of the pie, to answer your question, would be the Raiders and Niners still. And the Rams are trying to fit in there somewhere because they're getting reacclimated to the city. A lot of people already have their favorite team, but when you see a Cooper Kupp, you see a Matthew Stafford, an Aaron Donald, now Puka Nacua. Daddy, I know that we're Niner fans, but can I get a Puka Nacua jersey? We're acclimating ourselves to the high schools, the elementaries, black-owned businesses. They did in the Los Angeles area. They did like a benefit, so to speak, to support the Black-owned businesses in Southern California recently, not too long ago. So they're trying to reacclimate themselves to the community. And but yeah, the biggest piece of the pie still is the Niners and Raiders. And one of the reasons is because the Rams were out of town. And I got to tell you, the first year that we left to Los Angeles, and I went into I think it was Fans, the sporting place, sporting goods, the sporting store where they sell the jersey stuff. And I saw that familiar Rams helmet on the back of the jacket, and the front said St. Louis. It was hard, man. It was hard. It was, it was hard, man.
It seems so wonky and it's so weird, but I really appreciate your time. I was really hoping that you'd drop the link. I'm sure not everybody here who is listening loved all this.
See this comment right here, Johnny G.
Yeah.
That's why we call her the woman who showed, but the name is, just to give you an idea before we go. Eric Dickerson, right? You know him very well.
Yeah, oh yeah.
One of the greatest running backs of all time. He basically carried the '85 Rams to the championship game against the Chicago Bears. They wouldn't pay him. They wouldn't pay him. So she did a lot of things when she was in Los Angeles, and she shouldn't have been the owner. The Rams owner passed away, Carol Rosenblum, to give you the story of the Rams. The 79 Rams that played the Steelers, he died that year. He was like an Eddie DeBartolo Jr. He won 2 Super Bowls with the Colts. He traded that franchise to get the Rams. He had them on their way. They were in the Super Bowl the year that he drowned, so to speak. She took over the team, and we had good teams, but never been able to get over the hump. And then she ended up moving the team. So a lot of people got bitter, but a lot of Ram fans passed away, the OG guys that saw the fearsome foursome. So we're reacclimating ourselves to Los Angeles, and that's why I'm grateful that I'm still here, because I can speak back to that time and now, as a content creator. And but anyway, thank you, man. I appreciate you so much, Gavin. We've been going on here forever. We can do this forever, but I appreciate you coming in, man. Like I said, you're a welcome guest always to the show, and a salute to you, man, for your service, man. God bless you, and I appreciate it, man. And take care, brother. Hopefully we'll do this again soon. I usually come on Sundays for the post games, Wednesdays and Mondays.
Okay, when you lose, I'll definitely come on. And just for just for John Della Rosa, go Garfield Bulldogs. That it sounds like a cat and a dog. It doesn't sound like something that should go together. But just for him, I'm going to go ahead and shoot him that one. Thank you so much for your time, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. Much love, man. And I'll see you again, man. Take care.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for being in this extended, Johnny D. The only co-worker of mine was a Rams fan, but later became a Niner fan because his Rams went to Missouri. Yeah, it was very tough, man. And a lot of St. Louis Rams fans were very hurt by it. It was always loyal to our location, but they're still part of the Ramilia. That you can't change who your owner is. You can't help who the owner is. Johnny says, Georgia the woman who showed by name is Frontier destroyed the competitive Everett and Kevin Green Rams of the 80s. Yes, indeed. SM says Eric Dickerson is the GOAT. Yeah, so that's what happens. So I'm glad he asked that question, because the Niners never and Raiders never left California. The only team that really didn't benefit from that was the Chargers. They do have a big contingent in San Diego. And some of them now with Herbert, and you got to win, but they still have Spanos as the owner. They lost to the Jaguars in that big comeback last year in the playoffs. You can't have that. But the Rams will get back to that. The Rams are one team that set records in Los Angeles. Over 100,000 came to watch Ram games at the Coliseum a couple of times in their heyday. They set attendance records. That will come again. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this extended live with my guy, Gavin Brown. I appreciate him so much. I appreciate him so much, and as well as all of you. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you guys again on Monday. We'll find out more about Carson Wentz's contract. When you guys were asking about Carson Wentz's contract, and I haven't got that details yet, we will find out about that. And props to you, cool, bro. Appreciate it. John says, OJ was the GOAT. Love OJ. G's Nuts says, She screwed us of 20 plus years of LA Rams football. Yeah, man. You know what? That's what happened. A lot of the OGs passed away, man. And their daughter or son or grandson didn't get the chance to see the Rams in Los Angeles. So they're able to go and see the Niners on local TV, or they're able to go and see the Raiders on local TV because they were in Oakland or at the sports bar. But they were in California. A lot of teams, a lot of people like the hometown states. But yes, indeed. Jock 42 says cool live. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you guys, man. Thank you. G12 says say it, Ramulators. I will right now. SM says I appreciate you, Rudy. Thank you, man. Much love to you guys. Jock 42 says Jeff Fisher is still my coach. GOAT. Jeff Fisher helped. Listen, I don't like that Jeff Fisher was never able to get us into the playoffs, and guys like Laurinaitis and all those guys. That was before Jeff Fisher, right? Excuse me. That we were not able to get into the playoffs before that. I don't remember when. I think Jeff Fisher was there with Laurinaitis, right? I don't know. I'm losing steam, but he did help us win the Super Bowl by getting these guys. Aaron Donald, Johnny Hecker, that defense that we showed up in Los Angeles with, he helped us steer the ship as we got to Los Angeles. So I appreciate him for that. Kubro says, okay, next time, go to your bookstore, get it. It's my favorite of all time. It's an amazing message. It inspires George Lucas. Awesome. Shockford, he says, fear el pescador. So you guys talking about Star Wars. Johnny G says, Jeff Fisher's. You're too much. John DeLore says, Jeff Fisher was a great at USC. Yes, indeed. USC, my team, USC. G12 says, Rudy, was a long night here for you. Yeah, it was cool, though. It was cool with my guy, Gammon Brown. Danny O says, my kids are growing up as Ram fans. Go Rams. Love it, Danny. Yes, indeed. Appreciate you, Dan. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. I'm losing steam. Can't even remember when Jeff Fisher was coach. Jeff Fisher was coaching last week on the sideline. Did you see him? We didn't score any points. So we scored. It was 20-3. But anyway, thank you guys. Appreciate you, Gammon Brown. Appreciate you, Kubro. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys again on maybe we'll come on Sunday. We'll see what happens. But anyway, Monday for sure. As we always say, may the Ramelia be with you. And Ramulators, mount up. Thank you guys. Appreciate you. Much love.